I couldn't get it to work the other day, so something wasn't working there. Anyway, hopefully it's working now. And if it does affect either of the streams, if you notice frame rate dropping, you let me know. It was not... I stopped doing it for a while just because we were having some frame rate issues. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I saw that Top Esports took a game off T1, but then got blasted. Yeah, so... I don't know whether I'm gonna watch it back. Again, that tournament is there's a whole lot of weird stuff going there. One thing which was interesting about this series, the EDG RNG series, was the misfortune priority from EDG. Leave really likes that pick, I guess. And the combo didn't look awful. The combo did look pretty good. They won them in a lot of stuff. So yeah, I wonder whether that'll continue to be a kind of priority pick for them, because it's lane dominant. It gives you some really good team fight combos. There's a lot you can potentially do with that, you know. So yeah, I wonder whether we'll see some more misfortune stuff. In fact, WE were the only other team that were, well, they were the team that was playing misfortune in spring. I say other team, they were the only team that was playing it in spring, really. So yeah, that's yeah, a bit of a weird one, I guess. So yeah. Anyway, folks, I'm streaming on YouTube as well as Twitch at the same time now, folks. So if you have a preferred platform, you can do whatever you want there. And if there is a, oh yeah, Yangshin's coming in. So this is the new jungler coming in from WE. Yeah. And I don't know what to make of this guy. Yeah, I'm gonna go have a quick look up just to see how they have been doing. But I from what I've been hearing, it's not like they're a superstar. So yeah, that's the thing. So now they have, yeah, they have Abel and Mark, who was switched in summer. Well, they had LP and Mark. Abel, who was switched in later through summer, and Yangqing as well. So these are 3 different players changed at 3 different times. This team has really changed an awful lot. So I don't know, man. This is a weird one. This one's a weird one. And Yangshin, of course, we have no stats on him for LPL because he's not played in the LPL before. So that's a thing. So he was on Team W Academy for the last couple of years. That's where he's been. Yeah. So that's I don't know. It's a weird one, really. Not really that much to say about it. And yeah, wait, we're going back to the... Yeah, I guess they're going back to the same series because, hey, you know, it's the only games that we've seen from these 2 teams so far. Yeah, Leave like this. He had some big issues where he was just randomly split pushing and dying, which is not fantastic. But yeah, Yangqing was Bulukaka's jungler. Oh, he was Bulukaka's jungler. Right, now I remember him. Now I remember him. What a guy. I mean, Bulukaka was the special part of this, but I mean, when you look at Bulukaka, Stay, and Kadaya on that WE Academy roster, that's legit. That's some fun stuff. So yeah, Yangxian, well, I wouldn't call him the star of this roster, of that roster. I will say that yeah, I mean that roster was just fun. So maybe they can bring something there. Maybe they should bring in Bulukaka as well. Maybe that's the secret sauce. Okay. Oh, the guy's name is Juice. Yeah, and Juice has been the new top laner for RNG. So Juice has been fun. He's been fun. I've liked him. I've liked him a lot. I think he's been pretty good. They're going for Crine versus Fofo as the key matchup. Yeah, I mean, that might be how WE win the series. I think it's hard for them because they're playing with a rookie jungler versus JJ. That's just not easy. But Fofo has been their best player in a lot of ways, so yeah, I mean, if Crine doesn't stand up to Fofo, that is probably a problem. WE are about to get stomped, aren't they? I mean, EDG left a lot to be desired in their first series, so I don't think it's as simple as that. I mean, if they're subbing in this jungler, I hope they're doing it with good reason. If that does fix something in the team, maybe we see WE getting back towards that more organized style of play which we saw before. But I thought that Hung was a big part of that. So for me, I can't see this being an immediate upgrade for WE. Yeah, Dogscast. Yeah, I know that YouTube gets really weird with its views, and I don't know why the views are so low. But yeah, on YouTube, YouTube for some reason the discoverability goes down because, so for instance, yeah, I don't know, it's weird. Maybe I have to change the title to have LPL first in it or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it like this or something. Okay, I'm gonna just change it to like have LPL English cast first, and maybe it'll help the algorithm. YouTube algorithm is just really strange. So yeah, we'll see where that works out. Anyway, folks, we're getting close towards the game. Yeah, YouTube streams are just really weird because initially I was getting a couple of thousand people watching on YouTube, and then it just dropped off, just completely dropped off. But yeah, anyway, I figured I'd do it anyway. If I keep doing it, hopefully it picks up at some points, and yeah, we'll just keep on to that. So. Yeah, folks, let me know if either of the streams start struggling, because sometimes they can do when we're multi-streaming, and we'll do our best to get through for stuff, folks. Okay, so right, we'll be getting through into the arena soon enough as well, and hopefully then Mazel will be joining us, which will be really cool. So we'll get ourselves our co-caster. Anyway, we have Twitch partner as well, by the way, folks. So this is our first time doing an LPL co-stream since we got Twitch partner. So everyone who's been tuning in to watch LPL has very much helped me in regards to that. So thank you very much for that. And even if you're coming in for the first time or haven't been around as much as well, I appreciate it all the same, because it's nice to have you here and enjoying the LPL as well. Because, folks, we keep doing this because otherwise these games would be lost to time. I need to turn the alert box off, otherwise the alert box is going to get very, very loud at points. But thank you so much for the follows, everyone. Oh, does it lag when you're above 10? Oh, I guess I do it in 1440. But yeah, folks, otherwise these games would get lost to time. This is the only channel where you will see every single non-broadcast LPL game. No other channel is co-streaming every single game. A lot of people take days off, a lot of people go to do LCK. This is the only place where you will catch every single LPL game. So yeah, folks, and thank you so much, Andy, that's very kind of you. Yeah, so, right. Let's get into it today. EDGWE, it's really hard to call this one. I wouldn't be confident in calling a favorite because there's been a lot of changes to both teams. EDG looked ropey in their first series. WE are yet to play in the Rumble stage, but they've had roster changes already, and the player they're bringing up is an academy jungler who is not a superstar, had some superstars on his roster. So yeah, this is going to be a weird one. This is going to be a strange one. Yeah, look, and I'm not going to promise I don't talk about random stuff as well, Dogscast. But yeah, I do want to talk about the game as well, because I love these teams. These teams that I've really fallen in love with the LPL over the 2 years I've been casting here. And it's been really cool to kind of see the community and also get to know all of you as well. Yeah, getting to know everyone here through that is yeah. But yeah, no, for some reason Hung has been subbed out for Yangxian. I thought that Hung was core to this team's style, so I'm very surprised at this. Yeah. Smogu, thank you so much. And if you have been lurking all the time as well, absolutely no pressure to chat. Just enjoy yourselves. We're here to make content which you enjoy, so if you're enjoying yourselves, then mission accomplished. And yeah, no, I didn't watch that finals, Kaiser. No, I didn't. No, I didn't, but I might have to catch up on them just because it looked like it was an important tournament in regards to that. Right, I have an important thing to do as well, folks. We might get... Folks, I might need to run an ad break soon so we don't get them in-game. I did turn back on ads just because I got hit by a tax bill and I was like, shit, I need to get money from somewhere, but not as much. We have 11 minutes of it right now. Okay, I'm gonna go run an ad break now, just so we don't get them in-game. So it'll be a couple of minutes. Yeah, so this is, so you might miss the players walking out on stage. You're not missing anything important, but gonna run the ads now just so we don't get on anything else. So, like, 1 second, folks. We'll get to it just after this point. Yeah. And if you don't want ads, you can just drop a prime or something like that. Hey, thank you so much for all the primes, folks. I run 1 set of ads, and you get all of this. Yeah, and if you're on YouTube as well, you don't get the ads as well. So that's another thing. But hey, cool. Yes, and Annual's Legends are playing later in the day as well. So right. Let's get ourselves into it. Get ourselves the quick intro. Mazel will be joining us soon. Yeah, we get Mako. What? Why is Mako there? Why are you here? You're not playing today. You played yesterday. So, games today should be in Shanghai, I believe. Miss Tina Turner, welcome to the chat as well. Good to see it. By the way, folks, if I do see if you're a first-time chatter as well, and it always makes me happy to see if you guys are hopping in chat and enjoying yourselves. Obviously, no pressure to chat though, but it's just nice to see everyone here too. Yeah, I think when it comes to this first series, it's really quite. This is a really cool interview, by the way. I wish intro, by the way. I'd like to get a translation of some of the stuff. Seems like it's quite emotive. I do think that the solo lanes of Team W are looking really, really a lot better than EDG right now, and that could be an issue. Wayward can just win through individual matchups. Fofo, if he wins an individual matchup, goes into a side lane and just kind of runs away with that too. So yeah, it's kind of rough. Hey, attack Kazagan. What champions is Fofo good at? He is a very good Tristana. He is a very good Corki and LeBlanc as well. His Jace is also something that is noteworthy. But yeah, it tends to be just a lot of the meta stuff right now. He's also a very good Azir, but we don't really see that currently. Hildazer, thank you for the kind message. Yeah, and if anyone, if you are the kind of person who likes watching LPL and you miss the English broadcast when it's not on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, this is the only place where you will find every single LPL game, even the ones which some people say don't matter, which I do get that when you're watching like the dregs of struggling teams, but we do all of them because otherwise these games would get lost to history. So we hope that you enjoy them. We hope that you enjoy them, folks. So, should be getting through into the arena now. Both of these games should be in Shanghai. No one has their home arena playing today. Oh, I love Ultra Prime. I love Ultra Prime. With one of the commercials. What happened with the commercial? Was it that bad, Firefly? So yeah, we've basically gone over the matchup. I think solo lane advantage goes over to Team WE. I think jungle advantage hugely in favor of EDG, and JJ is such a good leader for this team. So yeah, we'll see whether he'll be enough versus RNG. Leave and Cryan struggled a lot to get good damage out. I've liked solo kill in a decent amount of the games. I think that he's been fine as a frontline. You know, he's nothing special, but he's been a lot more solid than I gave him credit for. You just get 7 McDonald's ads in a row? Oof. Yeah, it just really wants you to get fed. Oh, well, I'm at it as well, folks. So Mecha, Smogu, Andy, and Mirai Kyoko, thank you so much for the primes, folks. It means an awful lot. As yeah. I'm gonna need to wait now for Mazel, wherever he's at, because he should be around here soon. And now we have to see what the heck's gonna happen with this new jungler too. Would I be willing to try an American accent for a few seconds? What kind of American accent? Get off your horse and drink your milk. What isn't that the what's his name? The dude, the cowboy actor, Western actor. Now what we got here is failure to communicate. That's the... Wait, no. That was the intro to Guns N' Roses Civil War. So, WE! New player in the jungle. Let's see how they do. Yangshin. See, I can just not put on an American accent, just get Mazel to just be Mazel. We get that. Although, so funnily enough, folks, he doesn't do it often, but you know, Mazel is like fully fluent in French because he's got like strong French roots. So you just speak French, I guess, if you want something different. Cool Hand Luke. Oh, I didn't realize that. You know, I never knew that. What happens if they flip off the crowd? Then they get fined. They would almost certainly get fined. they would get fined, probably suspended. I'm pretty sure that a player in spring, oh no, last year maybe, I think they got fined for vaping on stage. I think they were vaping on stage and they got fined for it. That happened last year. I can't remember who it was. Maybe someone else can, someone else might be able to remember that, but I seem to remember that being a thing. Hey, Rain. Was it Leon? It sounds like something that Leon would do. Oh, that's a very kind message, Escape. So, should be another minute. Those are some bright-ass lights. You need to turn that exposure down on those cameras. They have ascended through the pearly gates. This is what you see after the afterlife. That is far too high exposure. Folks, I know we don't get outside much. We need more vitamin D, but like you don't just fry players on stage, folks. that's not the answer. The full concentrated power of the sun. For those of you that know that line from Baldur's Gate 3, by the way, it was initially from Megamind. Megamind is one of my favorite movies. Go watch it if you haven't. Very, very funny. We just got Leona rolled, folks. Just got ganked by Leona somehow. Only here in the LPL. Okay, and other things to remember, folks. We've had a couple of days of the new stage of the LPL right now, which is the Rumble stage. So for those of you that don't know, it is the top teams from each of the groups facing off against each other, and then the bottom teams from each of the groups facing off against each other. These two are in the lower group, which is the Nirvana group. The Nirvana group is the lower teams. The Ascension group is the upper teams. They're the ones which did better. The Ascension group fights for playoff spots. There are 9 teams there in that group, and the top 7 of that group go through to playoffs. The bottom 2 then face off against the best teams from the Nirvana group to have the last 3 spots from playoffs are on the line. So there will be at least 1 team going through from the Nirvana group. That just by pure mathematics. If there are 9 teams in the upper group and 10 playoff spots, there has to be at least 1 team from elsewhere. So yeah, this is kind of like the do or die group. WE unexpectedly knocked down into the lower group after their first round robin. Was really, really strong. LGD though, just a better team. LGD, they really ran that group towards the end of it, even though they struggled a little bit towards the start of it. I think Birdall struggled at the start of the groups. I think he's been really, really good beyond that point, and it's allowed Meteor and Haichao to be very clutch. LGD will be playing later today, so you'll be able to catch up on them. But yeah, when it comes to EDG and WE, I think, well, I mean, even EDG, after FBX going to drop that first series to them, we were wondering whether EDG might be able to clutch it out. They couldn't quite. They ended up losing a series to Thunder Talk as well, which ended up kind of putting them out of contention for the Ascension group. And yeah, this is now quite an interesting kind of, I'm not going to say do or die matchup, but this is two teams in a bit of a difficult spot and a bit more of a desperate spot, you know? So, as we come into draft, I need to think about our power picks and stuff to keep an eye on. For me, I do need to see JJ on something that can run the game. I don't want to see him on an AP carry. I want to see him on something that can control the game. Something like Lee Sin, something like Wukong. Stuff which can just kind of like start ganking early, make big plays. And then I think when it comes over to WE, I think you need Fofo on something that can, one, win lane, and then two, probably win side lanes. If Fofo gets Tristana, I think this draft becomes a lot easier. I think he's a very, very good Tristana player. And because, folks, it's the new stage, it's not the group stage anymore, we don't have Fearless Draft anymore. That doesn't mean we don't get crazy picks. We saw ourselves having ourselves even a Nasus top lane yesterday, so we have absolutely everything here. We can, and we will be getting ourselves into draft. Mazel's joining us as well. Welcome, buddy. Just in time, the draft has just started, so welcome aboard. As we get ourselves into the first draft of EDG versus WE, we're talking about that Tristana being really, really important. It's locked up for EDG very quickly.
It is indeed. Really quick, if you could stream the game, I'm getting your OBS right now, but okay. I will watch your stream itself and see that I really don't like the Kaisa pick immediately. Actually.
Yeah.
I think the poke setup though already for WE is really potent. They'll be able to find things that work around it in the rest of this first phase. I think is what I'm looking for. Okay, so hopefully you should be able to see things to you folks. We're just working through some tech issues in the background there, folks, and as it comes through, it's going to be, of course, big mobile carries for WE that can reposition in the middle of the fight, which can potentially be very, very important for them. EDG looking towards solo kill. Jax there on the other side. That's kind of locking in something which can go up against Wayward. I do think this top lane matchup could be very important. I think they're trying to give as much dueling potential to their solo laners to make sure that Fofo and Wayward don't just start popping off. Gotta give it up for a little bit of the veterancy there in the solo lanes, but also for EDG. It was the Lilia locked in for JJ though, so at least getting some of that farming clear speed jungler to utilize the priority of the Tristana gives you.
But I think also when it comes to that, it's also largely about having the engage options as well. Because one thing which I was saying is that I really need to see JJ on something that can control the game, can make big plays, can make big engage plays too. The Lilia for me is kind of the compromise between both. You can make some early plays, you can do the engage. You're not necessarily as easy a carry as the Zyra on the other side for Yangsheng, who of course has come in as a new jungler for WE, by the way, coming in from W Academy. Hung has just been benched, so Yangsheng coming in from W Academy. So I think that the Zyra is easier to play in a lot of ways. Your clear speed is pretty much unrivaled, but you don't get that same huge playmaking potential that a Lilia does.
Yeah, and you can also kind of be upended a little bit if you get behind to some extent. But I still do really like the contention you can have around objectives, and that's where WE's strengths are right now. I do see EDG's comp and see a lot of potential in the side lanes as well with solo kills, Jax. The obvious focus is some of those top lane matchups right now for EDG as they ban away the Cassante, but it's the Senna that's banned away by WE.
And so we get ourselves into second round. No supports locked up, which is surprising to me because so often we see Leona, Nautilus, stuff like that round out. Also, Ashe just not prioritized at all. I feel like Ashe has been a huge LPL pick. It allows you to go towards Ashe Braum. I think with the Kai'Sa locked in, you're not likely to see that from that side. You're probably looking at a Nautilus maybe 4th pick if you want to do that. I guess they could also just counter pick the Jax immediately though, so and give themselves support counter pick. It really depends if they wanted to take away the Nautilus, which feels like the easiest of the remaining supports to play.
Gives you just the all-in that you're always craving, I guess, to some extent, but it's also been a little bit duped with the Leona ban, first and foremost. I think gives it a lot more breathing room if you want to lock it in.
I love these offers here because you have two sides. You have two wolves within you. One of them could be winning the lane and but being kind of like all over the place in regards to everything else in terms of the cannon. You do win the lane versus the Jax, but then you have to be on the strong side of the map in a lot of ways.
Yep.
Or you have the Gragas, which can also beat the Jax, but it's much less about kind of dominating that matchup. It's more about holding the Jax down and having much more peel for your team. This is more of a selfless pick from Wayward than the cannon, which would be more selfish.
Ooh, gonna go with the Varus. So utility in the ulti for leave, but also a little bit of poke damage to maybe respond to the immense amount of poke for WE on the other side. Looking for that engage to kind of follow up or at least kick things off so that a Lilting Lullaby can follow through and get the entrances from solo kill as well. I think the Rel could be a nice choice here. Again, that Nautilus was still on the board, but there it is.
Yeah, so it is going to be, and it is going to be that Nautilus coming through last as well. I was wondering whether that Nautilus would come through as pick 4, just because it would have allowed them to get that away from EDG should they have gone towards it. So both teams do now have themselves enough engaged. Sometimes that's something which we see lacking a little bit. We have the Rel, we have the Lilia on one side, and that should hopefully allow the Tristana and the Jax to start running rampant. On the other side, you have kind of a mix of the Nautilus and then the follow-up of the Corki Tristana. The Gragas can help with that too. And I really do think that most of the time when you have like a Varus to Tristana, you think, oh, you're playing up really long range. It's hard to play at range against the Gragas and then all of these other range champions too. I don't think any one team has walked away with a huge advantage. I think this is very much going to come down to team fight execution in a lot of ways, because you do have similar tools to play with both on disengage and in terms of the engage tools as well, and which I love to see that, because both of these teams I don't think are completely out of each other's sights. I think they're both teams which have fallen on hard times. I think they're struggling. This series is one which could be very important to kind of stabilize the narrative about themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, WE definitely salty to be in this group B a little bit to some extent. EDG were so close, honestly. It wasn't in their hands, but... Or I guess it was in their hands if they were able to win, but they kind of got a little bit gapped in the last series. But now, game 1 kicking off here for a pretty important matchup in terms of pride, at least for both these two teams. But very interested to see what the jungle matchup's going to rely on here in terms of the newness for Team WE and maybe the classic for EDG and JJ.
We're going to get ourselves on to the Rift and get ourselves into the first game between these two teams as well. Down in Group Nirvana is where the teams who couldn't quite get things together in groups come to fight it out and see if they can live another day and get themselves closer towards those playoffs.
Level 1. Level 1. Oh, they're going with the unique around the wall so you don't get seen. Uh-oh. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, he saw him at the last second. He's got a flat foot. Ooh.
Close stuff. Close stuff.
Hey, everybody's got their reactions ready to go already.
I was a little bit distracted because I had this conversation with gosh, who was it? I was talking, I think it was with Munchables when I last saw the games here, because that camel in the skybox, I was thinking, why the hell is there a camel here? By the way, folks, that camel's there because the Silk Road starts in Xi'an. WE, they have their arena in Xi'an. So that's why that's there, for anyone who wants a little bit of a cultural hit there. At the same time, flash down on leave. That is not really one you want to be starting the game with, though, because it does feel like now you can start going forwards with that Kai'Sa Nautilus and looking for real kill combos.
And that's definitely something to kind of keep an eye on. I particularly want to see how quickly these jungle clears are going to go and how active they want to be after the first clear, because I think it's going to be very telling if we are just going to get kind of farm, then reset, and go back out to re-clear, or if we're actually going to get some activity. Because, again, I think in some ways there's a lot of reliance on getting to item spikes for WE. I feel like there is a little bit of room for that proactivity, like you were mentioning, a little bit more for EDG in some regards.
I think having Rel does help with that when you've got the Varus too, because having Rel helps with that. You could say, oh yeah, but the Nautilus on the other side, yeah, that's true. Both these supports could just get a help with that, but like, do you think like when it comes to having Rel and the Varus, it just gives you a lot of really good early game damage. It's one of the reasons why Varus has been so meta for a while. Of course, he's fallen off a little bit when it comes over to summer. He was something like 87% presence across the entirety of spring, went down to about, 50% in summer. You think, oh wow, 50% presence, that's a lot. Yes, but consider what it was before. Anyway, Champion is just really good, both in the early game and then in various builds going towards the late game as well. Now we're coming through to the end of the Zyro clear. Yang and his first clear in the LPL. Normally expecting it just before the 3-minute mark. 2 minutes 54. That's a hell of a timer for Yang. And he gets himself right onto the map very, very quickly. Hits level 4, can go down towards bot side. They don't have a wave crash, though, so you're realistically not in dive range.
He made it through his first clear without anything going wrong.
Love that.
That's a good bar to set. And honestly, we're working our way up for WE. Again, it's been a little bit of question mark for sure, but really interested to see what he brings to the table here on Zyro. They're going to find... I thought he was going to commit for the gank onto Cryan. Not going to do it. On the other side, though, was JJ trying to get some vision down. Yeah,
Cryan had jump. He was close to JJ, and also Yang was also spot on bot side in that tri-brush. I think that, you know what, that's a little bit ballsy from Cryan, just because you know he's somewhere in that bot side fog of war. You just don't know exactly where. He's now gone towards bot side, and he's going straight in and misses the route.
Ooh, tries to go for the flash play, doesn't get it. The dredge line does connect afterwards, though. Not able to get that combo in his first attempted gank there.
Tries to, one of the changes coming through for Zyro in the last year or so was there was a change where you can E cancel with the flash. So you can do the E, then you can flash forwards to kind of like make it harder to react to. He tries to do that there, just can't quite get it, splits the goalposts, and can't quite get himself that big CC. And now you've used your flash.
Oh. There's that Rel getting the priority engaged, and here comes JJ to make it all good. Gets first blood for EDG as well, and they can chase this down with that hail of arrows. Gonna get the flash out of Abel.
So it's an overcommit from WE in the bot side. They try and hard force towards that lane multiple times. Yang holding himself really close towards that bot lane. Can't make the play happen. They use the flashes. They come back to haunt them. EDG get themselves onto the board. Kill goes over to JJ. And what did we say about this matchup? Well, even if there are individual player matchups for WE, maybe in the solo lanes, maybe in the AD carry role as well, JJ is really, really good. Him getting a first kill and getting active early is a great sign for EDG and what they need as a team.
Yeah, I mean, EDG have been on a soul-searching journey, it feels like, since they've changed out a ton of their compositional strengths in terms of players, but JJ has been the constant, even after taking a little bit of time off in spring, and he has been a lot of the reason why they've had a little bit of success here in summer.
I think that's completely true. JJ is a player which I think has done so much work. Even on the EDG Doom squad, it did feel like it was just him against the world. You know what, Ala was okay too. He had some good games. But it really did feel like JJ needed this in a lot of ways. He has had a really good summer. I do think that the team has still largely very much struggled. It has been a difficult year for them. Cryan going forwards, but you're level down!
Oh my god, Cryan! Oh! He's actually alive. He's going to make it away with a little bit of healing on the back end of it with the level up, too.
Yeah, that's lucky, though. Fofo was level 6. Cryan jumps in, and what we were saying is that, yeah, JJ, really, really good. Fantastic for his team. They have had some issues elsewhere. Cryan, for me, has not been that stable. So WE getting themselves something out of that mid lane matchup, getting the flash away from Cryan and Fofo, getting himself a lead there. Wayward also getting a slim advantage at topside. That's something which they will want to play through later on. It'll be harder to play towards it when they don't have the grubs. Typically when you have a winning solo lane matchup, you want to chuck them into a side lane, take turret plates, get gold through that way. Yeah. They've given them up, but at least they've taken the dragon.
It's honestly one of the only times I feel like we've seen trades here recently in those objectives on times. Usually we were either getting fights over one or taken early or late, I guess, in other instances here recently. We get another visit down in bot side.
Ah, yes, the ganking power of the Zyro. We see it in full force. I mean,
full force, the force of nothing. That point. Or maybe force multiplied by 0.
Yeah, 0 multiplied by anything is still, in fact, 0.
See, I know math.
Yeah.
You see me? Look at that.
Hang on, I'm trying to think if that's technically the case. So there is one weird exception. 0 to the power of 0 is 1. That's the one thing which gets weird with it. But anyway, that's math's weirdness. All the same, Fofo is really, really strong. He's got himself tabbies first off, which I think is really important, because if he goes up against the Jax or the Tristana in the next few minutes of play, normally we see around about minute 12 or so, solo lane is going out to a side lane. It can happen a little earlier, but if Fofo gets himself to a point where he can just walk up against the Tristana and Jax, just rocks up to their lane and starts winning that matchup, I think that's a big point of concern for EDG, and it's something which Fofo has done really well in the past too.
And it's not like this is not a matchup we see all the time. And getting a pretty big lead like this is not...
What do you make of this new matchup of Corki versus Tristana in the mid lane?
But it's not typical to have such a massive CS differential, I feel like, so early. So definitely some things going wrong for Cryan a little bit early in the lane. But the Tristana is picked for a reason, I feel like, for EDG. Not only the resets and the fights, but a lot of the strength they can provide through the laning power. JJ will end up clearing a little bit of vision around in mid lane, but both junglers perfectly fine with going for the farming aspect in the early game here.
Yeah, I mean, you're waiting up until you have the first kind of out parts of your kit. You see that JJ, Yangshen both have themselves the Fated Ashes. They'll be cleaning pretty fine. Look, folks, we could talk about this trade in mid lane. It's just what happens with these two. Every Tristana matchup in mid lane is really trade heavy. It's exactly what happens. They have fleet footwork and they have the absorb life runes as well, which means that even if they do take these trades, they get a lot of life steal back just through the regular runes. I thought we tried to remove sustain in runes, folks. This, like, it just feels like we make the same mistakes in new and colorful different ways every couple of years. JJ, he might be going towards top side. Wayward gets stunned.
Yeah, not able to get the swirl seed. The cast gonna be dodged out from JJ. Goes for the flash, the lilting lullaby just in case over the top. Meanwhile, in bot side, we have kills going over as well. So some trades across the board as Wink has fallen.
Alright, so we get ourselves a cross map. Kill in the bot lane for WE. Kill goes over to the Kai'Sa, which is always important. Kai'Sa with gold can do a great many things. On the other side of the map, though, JJ picks up a second kill. It's going to be Wayward falling behind in this matchup. And with the grubs which EDG pulled off earlier as well, they managed to get them. You get a couple of... you get a plate for solo kill as well. So EDG, significant advantage top side. Bot side, no plates went over. They don't get the AD carry of leave away from that wave too. So I do think it's a slight advantage to EDG in regards to just that cross map.
Pretty even contest so far across the board. Now we will have the second spawn of grubs coming up, and you know what that means. We're going to definitely get some tussling over that.
Yeah. As
WE going to try to deny grub again.
Yes, we will try and batten down the hatches, close the windows, hide under a table somewhere, and see if we can swipe through that.
I did this to Jamada the other night, but your thumb or mine? Do you get the reference?
No, I don't.
No, okay.
Anyway, this is the kill which happened both sides.
Fallout.
No, I never really played that, or watched it either. So we're going to see, this is both sides, ganks either side of it. JJ backsteps the cask, ends up getting himself onto the enemy target as well. Does use his flash. I will say when it comes around to this next grubs, just spawning right now, not having the flash on the Lilia is not great. WE, they do have flash on Nautilus, who has level 6. They could, no, they're not looking to contest. Abel's in bot side. Well, if they are contesting, it's a mistake. Their Kai'Sa's not there.
It's a little bit difficult. Your poke composition, missing one of the poke cannons, makes it a little bit harder to execute there. Also, the item completion for JJ makes it a little easier to have some presence around there. They will end up getting Grubageddon, and now they're going to try to crash straight into the top side where Wayward is patiently waiting for the wave to crash so he can try to thin it a little bit more.
Oof, the swell seed hits. There is no lilting lullaby right now, but just the damage is nasty. He has himself an ult, but he gets hit.
Oh, it's the cask. Gonna try to move his big body out of there. Wayward, though, locked down and left out by Leave. There was a TP coming in for Fofo, though. Try to get some fight back. Now, actually, Mark has made the full roam and the depth charge combo. Oh. There you go, and he gets the Dredge Light too! A double kill comes through for Fofo.
Oh, and it's an overstay from EDG. That teleport from Fofo does end up making the difference, and Mark cancels out the last bit of Lilia damage. Tries to go forwards with a big slam down with the W, the watch out Eep. gets dragged back and cancelled out of the animation. So WE, they somewhat come out ahead from that. They get a couple of kills back. It's going to be some important kills onto Fofo, onto this Corki, who, as we said, was already winning the individual matchup. Starts with the ult hitting from Leave. You think, hey, that's normally pretty good. If the Avaris ult hits, you typically expect good things. It's a lot committed to finally get the kill onto the Gragas, though. They end up getting multiple flashes for us, and JJ doesn't have his ult. If he has his ult, the first swell seed before the extra wave came in probably would have ended this play. As we said, the Dredge line cancels out the Lilia W there as well, which is all sorts of fancy.
Marv putting on his best, like Spider-Man between the subway trains situation there. Just pull everything together. He's making it all work out for them. As W will take a second dragon for themselves. They're starting to stack that one up. We have an Ocean Dragon soul.
The fact that we haven't got a Spider-Naut skin yet, it upsets me,
dude,
by the way.
Right?
I know.
Like, what are we doing?
The amount of times this guy just like hooks himself to safety, like this man is a superhero. You can't prove it otherwise.
So train conductor Orn, we need to give out the job to the skins. All right,
JJ. I don't think he realizes he's in this much danger.
Oh yeah, no. But he has backup, and there's the Magnet Storm over. He's dead though, so maybe the backup didn't help that much. Able to get one, but Leave gets the other. It is a bit of a trade. Solo Kill did TP in as well. Nothing else going to come of it.
Weird cross-map scenarios coming through. I'm liking that both the teams are looking quite proactive. EDG trying to push up aggressively. It has been countered multiple times, and then you're giving big goal over to Abel and Fofo, despite the fact that Leave got a lot of tower plates. I think he got some up in that towards that top side, and he's gotten some kills himself. Abel's just about even regards to that now. WE rolling with the punches pretty well at least, and now we're getting to the point where I wonder whether Fofo can start popping off with the Triforce power spike. Yeah. It's a really big moment. Need to see whether he can do that before EDG start using, again, Grubmageddon and get themselves a load of plates just like this.
That's what Tristana does best. Gonna get the turret plate at the end there too. Huge stuff. It is gonna be an all-out tussle though, as we see first item completions coming through, obviously. Because I think the Rift Herald could be in the eyes of WE as they redeploy out onto the map.
Flashback up for JJ. The last time we saw these grubs, we were saying, you know, Lilia no flash. That's kind of not what you need. Currently, you have really good item spikes. I think the Merc Tread's really important to you in the early game to allow JJ to potentially get through some CC, flash in, get a big ult. He's starting it up right now. Because you have Wink and JJ both with flashes, I think this could be a really explosive fight.
Try to get the smite fight. Nope, not going to take the fight there. Rift Herald will just go over to EDG.
I understand being afraid of that. Solo Kill gets rooted up.
He's going to get the combo. Does end up flashing out just in time to use the cask to get to safety. Okay,
so EDG, they get themselves Herald, they get themselves Tristana alone in a side lane. That is typically the scene of a crime very soon afterwards. Demolition unassisted on that side. And they get the Herald not to break up a mid lane turret, but to get an inner turret. So they're basically saying, look, we have 6 grubs, we have a Tristana, we can get the inner turret gold, which is much more valuable. But now it's going to be W teleporting back in.
No. Wayward says he does not want to allow you here. He's Esquire Gragas. You have to get through him. Now Abel is actually following up just like another bodyguard there. Wink will end up getting away with his flash.
Solo kill, staying in the mid lane. So WE don't really defend that top side. They do stop the Herald from getting the full inner turret. And it's really hard to get back towards top lane inner turret, in fairness. Like, it's really hard to do that. What have you spotted?
What is that? 0% first turret win percentage. Oh, man.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
Wait, is that just from summer? Now. Are you kidding me? But they've won games. So rough. This is the thing. They
didn't get the first turret, though. All right, they got to win this one. We're all locked in. This is World Finals right now for EDG. They got first turret. They got to win.
Normally, you're sat there thinking, well, if it's 0%, maybe they just didn't win that many games or something like that. Obviously, in spring, they didn't win, like, nearly anything.
They almost were in Group A.
Yeah, but this team, they almost found themselves to the Ascension group. So, I don't know how the hell they won that many games without taking first turret a single time. So, hey, we're learning a little bit of their dark science here, I suppose.
Do they have cookies? Please tell me yes. The dark side. Oh my goodness. A minute until the dragon does spawn, though, would be sole point for WE, so they're definitely going to want to try to get some priority in mid lane.
I feel like that's like peak early 2000s, birth of the internet culture. I used to have a t-shirt which said, "Welcome to the dark side, we have cookies."
It really, exactly.
I haven't thought about that in years, but it's
been burned into all of our subconsciouses.
That it has. So anyway, as you said, look, we probably should be talking about Dragon Setup because it could be quite important. WE, they have to. There are 2 dragons for WE already. Again, we have big summoners available for EDG. Both the carries have those flashes. On the other side, Wayward has flash ult as well. Maybe he's at the point where he could look for an engaged play even on the Gragas. Likely you're looking for big disengaged play, though. Look for EDG to over-engage, put down the Strangled Forms, put down that cask, and see if you can just lock someone up with the big Zyra plant damage rolling across them at the start of it. So EDG, they have the engaged tools. They have that Flash Lilia. Great. Just make sure you just don't stay too far on the thorny path.
And also not maybe fighting the choke points necessarily, unless Wink is the one to kick it all off, which I think Wink's going to have a lot of potential to make game-changing ultimates and engages here for EDG, as they will be front in the center for this dragon. WE not going to be ones to just let this one go too lightly. Fofo is the one that was answering solo kill in the side lane right now because he has TP.
Fofo has found himself behind in gold, despite him doing really well in the individual matchup because of the 6 grubs and Tristana getting himself into the side lanes. I will say, though, typically, even when Tristana gets ahead of the Corki, I feel like Corki wins that matchup, and you can see right now, he's completely fine wave clearing at least versus solo kill. I don't know what would happen with an all-in between the Jax and the Corki. I guess if you get into Counter-Strike range without using Leap Strike, then it's probably a one trade, but the reason we get to talk about all this is because that side lane matchup seemed to be more important than the Dragon itself. Dragon's been alive for a little while.
Yeah,
folks.
I'm surprised.
We haven't had teleports coming through to it. Neither of these teams starting this off too quickly. It comes in now. Remember, same kind of things. EDG, they have great tools to engage, but if they over-engage, things can go different.
Ridgeline going a little bit wide there. Yeah, WE are on the back end of this play. The Wayward going to try to take the fight there. They've only got one target, and it's on to Wink. Abel's getting that one. Big Stranglethorn to try to separate. They do get out as the Lilting Lullaby comes through. Abel going to be pushed back, crying. Ends up trying to separate the rest of WE away from his team. Now, Dragon didn't reset that entire time, so it's just going to be picked up by WE, who would get Dragon sole point.
Yeah, I think Mark does a really good job there, making sure that the initial flashes from EDG were defensive instead of offensive, and it just gave them that extra degree of safety. WE, they get themselves sole point, so we have now seen a complete switch-up of the objectives. All of the top-side objectives went to EDG, they hard-focused on the Grubs and the Herald. WE get themselves 3 dragons, and now they have that sole point without having fallen behind a whole lot of gold from the Grubs and that Herald. Typically, if you have 6 Grubs and a Herald, you're expecting, 3,000, 4,000 gold leads, something like that. It's not been the case. This has been a big problem for EDG. Leave has been out of position in crucial moments continually. He's on hit Varus. He can't get himself poke over the wall. After that flash is blown, he is completely out of position for the team fight. EDG are playing without an AD carry because Leave walks up way too close to Fog of War, gets his flash blown, and he can't contribute to the team fight otherwise. This has been a continual issue now.
It has been, and you can't do that when they have the go buttons like that. So easily pulled. As we are getting a little bit of bot lane presence from WE after all of that. They'll be sitting fine and dandy with the way that their map state's working out for them so far. And a pretty strong start for a new roster addition. Honestly, it's been really cool to see WE still form themselves in the way we saw them in the group stage, or at least the placement stages.
Yeah, when you're against JJ, if you are kind of like doing fine as a new jungler coming in and like you don't think much about the enemy jungler, that's typically a good thing. Yangshan's just been sat here just chilling. He's been getting himself kill participation. He's got 100% kill participation right now at 005. He's getting himself up to his big items. Like, the fact that this is his first game of the LPL, I mean, he's doing completely fine to me. Has he done anything special so far? No, he only missed a couple of the early ganks, but whatever, Considering he's coming in as a new addition to a roster, which has made a lot of new additions. Abel and Mark both added at different times across summer. And now Yangshan coming in as the newest addition. This is about as good as you could expect from a roster with this much turbulence.
Also, just now seeing the second item spikes coming through for WE, at least have been, but some big completions going to be on the board now. and they have kind of complete want of the map right now. If they want to go somewhere, you just lead with Mark. They'll be perfectly fine. They're actually going to look at this outer tower mid lane to take away some more of the defensive structures here for those objective contests.
I'm really surprised that EDG didn't defend this harder. This is against 0 Grobes as well. It's not even like there's extra tower damage. EDG failed to work around that dragon, failed to defend that mid lane outer turret. They do take a side lane turret there as well, but it feels like WE walking away with big victories in the last few minutes, considering how well JJ was getting himself into the game early on. It felt like EDG had themselves a lot of options, but they've stalled out somewhat now. They might be able to respond with this on the other side, because again, 6 Grubs, if they get any autos here, it's something, but this is how you defend a turret.
Big Wayward coming to make the play is going to miss literally everything as he comes in, but did it matter? No, because Fofo is able to help clean him up. He does get cleaned up himself, but WE are going to get the trade in the end.
So, EDG, they overpush in mid lane, get teleported on. Huge damage in bot side from the 6 Grubs of the Jax, but WE still walk away defending the mid lane outer turret. They end up getting a kill onto Leave as well, who is once again kind of caught out in the lurch. That one's not really his fault if you're flank teleported on. It just kind of sucks to be you. A lot of the time it was a flashless immobile AD carry. And we can see that EDG really trying to play around the side lanes, but now even solo kills overstayed.
Solo kill, no! He fell for the bait. And unfortunately, he will end up falling. Counter-Strike's going to buy a lot of the time, but Fofo will clean that one up for his 4th kill of the game. And this Corki, he's going to be online.
I'm so surprised he's behind in gold to the Tristana. Both of these mid laners are just really fair. So yeah, we said, okay, WE, defend your mid lane outer turret. How can you do this?
Don't watch.
Teleporting behind like this is great. Missing everything is not great.
How do you miss the body slam too?
Wayward showing the spirit, if not the ability.
He can move that body so good he can't hit things. That's what it is.
I didn't quite realize how bad it was in the play. I was like,
dude, I'm like sitting there. I'm like, my brain is just.
Because I was sat there like, because the thing is, put it this way, most of the time I prefer the right play played badly, because the right play is teleport flank there, stop EDG hitting the turret. That's the right thing to do. Yeah, missing everything like that makes it seem a lot worse though. All the same, WE, they do keep the tower alive. Dragon is now alive, and because they defended that mid lane out of turret, it makes it so much easier to push up in mid lane like this, control the vision, and we'll look towards it. It's if they get the Ocean Soul at this kind of timestamp this early into the game, it could change everything.
Oh, it's gone. I mean, they're just burning it. Absolutely. Maybe an arrow. Is it going to be enough? Oh, that was so close. Engage goes a little bit wide from Mark, though, so not going to follow it up anymore. They get what they came for, though, and maybe they can even continue furthering that conversational question and ask them about Baron. They will pull away from it, though.
I mean, there's absolutely the threat. They've got themselves a Leandri's jungler. Zyra, one of the strongest Baron takers in the entire game. Maybe even the best Baron taker in the game. This EDG, you have to contest at some point.
Well, that's going to be a big swirl sweep. Okay, doesn't hit anybody. Now, they do get the tier 2 and bot side TP from Solo Kill on the other side of the fight, but Mark's already kicked it out before Solo Kill can even get here. Chains of Corruption going to go through. Solo Kill's got the flank of a century. Is it going to be enough? Lilting Lullaby goes on to Fofo. They're going to try to get the jump on him. They're all committing onto Fofo. He's going to go down. Now Wayward finds the big body slam there. Big magnet storm back from Wink, though. And it's EDG trying to fight themselves into this one, but Abel has been cleaning them up the whole time. A double kill to Abel, and it's going to be EDG with their tail between their legs.
It's 3 Baron buffs out for WE. They take down 3 members of EDG, so they win the fight, they win the Dragon, they win the Baron, they win everything. Now they get themselves the ability to really start rolling across this map, taking the few turrets which will remain between them and the base. Where are we going back to with this? We're going back towards the Baron start, of course, beyond all of this. Mark gets himself a big kind of dissuasion play here, just saying, look, I'm just going to throw everything to make sure you don't get themselves a big engage. Solo Kill takes the turret, but because he takes the turret, he's not really here on the right kind of timing to get a big grouped up engage. They do get onto Fofo. That's important, but it's not the only carry on the Rift at this point. Abel really manages to get himself a good reposition. One of the best things about LPL Kaisers is the way that they start off auto-attacking and then they ult to reposition. Exactly what we see there. And now suddenly Abel, 3,000 gold up on Leave. 3, almost 4 items on the Kaiser. With the Ocean Soul, WE, they are ready to rock.
Yep. Not only that, he has the Terminus and a Vampiric Scepter. So it's just going to be hard to kind of kill him in a lot of these situations unless you just get perma lockdown on him. With that Baron buff, though, they're going to try to push down this tier 2 in bottom side. Easy does it here, as the rest of EDG are across the rest of the map.
I mean, Solokill's just trying to use the 6 grubs to get something in topside. Yeah, you don't have the best wave clear right now. They can try their best, but it does feel like WE, they are just trying to lose as little as possible in the base and trying to trade somewhere else.
And what a massive effort from Fofo and able to make Yang Xiang's first series here. A little bit of a doozy for them in a good way. Now, this siege is difficult for EDG to fight against. Oh my goodness. Mark just said, let's go. They're going to TP in, try to take this first turret here. They're working on the Nexus turrets right now, and Big Stranglethorn going to push them away from it. And Solokill's going to go golden, but might just die right out. And they're going to go for the Nexus. This is a hell of a finish. WE 27-15 into the game. And they already take a 1-0 lead on this best of 3.
WE, they make a roster swap, bring in their Academy jungler of Yang Xiang, and somehow things just really start popping very, very early into it. WE, that was a really good game. They gave up some stuff around topside, but you know, the longer we went into things, they really just felt the more in control they ended up being. So yeah, WE walk away with a pretty clean and calm 1-0 to the series. Folks, my name's Dimera. I'm joined by Mazel today. How are you doing, buddy? It's really good to see you, and really good to have you on the cast as well. If you're enjoying what we are doing here, folks, there is no LPL broadcast on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so we thought we'd do it instead, so you can enjoy it, and of course, so these games don't get lost to time as well. So if you're enjoying it, we good. We're glad you're enjoying it. And
yes.
How are you feeling this morning, Mazel? Was the stream okay, by the way? We kind of just slapped things together. Was things okay?
Yeah, no,
okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate you stepping in as always.
Having a good time. Getting to watch some more LPL Ascend and Nirvana grouping games. It's a lot of fun, especially because I feel like I haven't gotten enough LPL recently. Because guys, if people don't know that I haven't watched LPL, first there was a break, but also I had a lot of 2-0s, and I'm not used to it. I'm not used to it. All right, I need the long days, need the long games. But honestly, I expect this series to be hotly contested. The next one, I don't think as much, but this one I do expect to bounce back at some point.
Thing is, if they are going to stand up, if this is going to be contested, Leave needs to do better than this. This is
100%.
I have to say, the first series we saw from Leave and this game here, Leave is on atrocious form. Go back and watch the series versus RNG. He is consistently out of position. He's had some good moments. I think his laning phase is good, and I think they punished there again, but honestly, he was caught out of position way too many times, you know?
Are we surprised? I'm to be a little bit maybe negative. I mean, this guy has been subbed in, subbed out, not only because of attitude issues, but also gameplay issues multiple times. And so, like, I think there has been a question of consistency for Leave. And there's been the highs, but then you have some of these moments like this.
Yeah, the thing is, felt like everyone was looking at this guy because genuinely this guy was believed to be the next superstar of the LPL.
He was,
and I just don't see I don't see that right now. Now, that's not to say he can't be that. That's not to say he can't do that at some other point. But as it stands right now, EDG need a carry. JJ is trying to do that from the jungle, and I think JJ still had a good game. This is the sad thing about this squad, is that I think that JJ throughout groups and then also coming into games like this as well has done a lot of good work. It's just not enough. You know, when I think the big fight for me was that third dragon, which it's a little beyond this one. Yep. I'm sure we'll see it there. But like Leave immediately getting caught out and them having to fight without the AD carry is not great.
You literally have to walk all the way around the entire bottom side map.
So this is the fight here, because there are multiple problems with it. So Leave flashes, then immediately gets caught out, and I understand because effectively everyone's caught out. Maybe just the whole team needs to disengage at that point. You could maybe say JJ don't flash in, but the fact that Leave is caught out so easily means that this fight gets really, really dangerous beyond that point. So yeah, I don't know. EDG, I don't think Krein's having a great year, despite him being, you know, MSI winner, has himself some pedigree in the past. I think Leave and Krein have struggled to really leave their mark as carries, and it's kind of just left JJ and Wink to be the team fighting force for this team and try and win through macro, try and win outside of the big team fights, because the team fights just aren't working for them right now.
And honestly, through all that, it's JJ that I look at, because he has been the pillar. He's literally the only remaining member that was there to claim that star for EDG. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a roughy early start for EDG. I think depending on what kind of composition they go for in game number 2, it could be a lot different. And I want to see JJ go with more of a, hey, you're new here, I'm gonna bully you style, instead of, hey, let's both farm and then see what our lanes do for us in some regard.
Okay, folks. We're gonna go. I guess we'll keep chilling, but we're gonna take a quick break and stuff. I need to go refill and drinks and stuff.
Get some water.
Absolutely, dude. And
I will be back.
Oh yeah, hang on, folks. Yeah. Let me go find the thing. Yeah, folks. If you hang around and chat, I don't mind if you look. I'm not gonna control with your betting and games on stuff. It's just that not everyone in Twitch chat and stuff like that is here for that. So just try and keep like over. Wait, Yangxing MVP. I don't know about that. He did play pretty well. I don't know about that.
That's bold, Cotton.
I think
that's bold.
I think Mark should get it. I think Mark played really well. You know, his Nautilus was pretty slick.
Just for that one top lane play alone.
Yeah, legit, yeah. But yeah, folks. If you hear from like betting websites and whatever, like I'm not gonna stop you from doing that. You do what you want in regards to that. But like when it comes to this Twitch chat, not everyone's here for that. So just try and keep things to just gameplay related. And it's been completely fine right now. But yeah, just we've had some issues with that before because people kind of rock up and it just kind of like kills off the chat a little bit. Thank you, Tack. I appreciate it. Sure. So the thing about the kills is that you can see it quite easily. So you can, by the way, if you're checking the kills and stuff, you can either. So my broadcast VODs are immediately available. You can go back and you can find that immediately. So you can find the end game scoreboard. You can literally just go back on that. So you can find it yourself in regards to that. So there's everything available to you. You can just go to past broadcast and it's there already. You can literally go see whatever you need to. So. What up?
I had to stay around to see because I knew that the Chinese side does the votes on how many votes win MVP. That man won MVP with 3 out of 6 votes. That's not majority. I'm just saying. You know, it is depending on what the other votes were. But
yeah,
I'm salty. I don't know. No, but I'm actually gonna get some water.
Okay, folks, I'm gonna go take a quick break. Also, just gonna put on an ad break as well, just so we don't get them in. Oh. Okay, folks, I'm just gonna go quickly put on an ad break, and we will get ourselves back.
把生活玩出新意，自由自在，灵感随行，
用个性的方式画世界，
让眼界突破边界，
让远在天边，近在眼前，
让每一刻精彩不再等待。
激动。
梦想仅需一丝微光点亮，热爱在迷途中指引方向，齐心协力，便能一往无前。诺斯利安哪一考为热爱证明。
오랫동안 수많은 팀의 상승과 하락을 지켜봤습니다. 끝에 서있던 사람은 항상 저입니다.
他的力量，我们的力量。我就是不灭魔王。 奉魔王之命，让所有人记住我的名字，我就是行走的传奇。
不行，现在没力气。
我来帮你。可恶，还是不行吗？我们一起来帮你。回来了，都回来了。
选手助力充满电力，选手助战上线，同位置选手助阵，属性值加成，齐心协力更高战力。
Okay. Howdy, howdy. What about Ari? Faker played his own... Wait, he played his own skin on stream? Okay, cool. I will say, folks, I have the skin. I kind of think it's pay to lose. Slightly. Not much. Slightly. One, when you press charm, it's really, really obvious which direction the charm's coming out because there's an extra particle which shows at your feet, which it's just really, it's really easy to tell when the charm is coming, which is a problem. Thank you, Bessie. And then also, once you get your first ult into the game after you've earned 10,000 gold, you get like a really bright overlay. You get like a really annoying overlay, which ends up just being really, really distracting in a lot of ways. So, and yeah, it's just annoying as heck. Okay, we should be getting through into draft soon, folks. Yeah, so the border and the crystals at the top genuinely block your vision, so that's a problem. Anyway, we should be getting through into draft soon enough. A reminder, this was a game where WWE didn't even get the Tristana. Now, if they're on blue side, that raises some issues, because then you have to ban away a load of different mid laners. I wonder if you just have to go for full mid lane ban strategy and as EDG and just try and get Cryon onto something which is just like matching parity with Fofo, because Fofo was just massively outvaluing this in that first game. Massively outvaluing. I think we're getting ourselves into draft. Oh no, that camera angle always spooks me out. I should have turned my cameras off anyway, but... no, that wasn't embedded. We are going into that draft. Second draft of the day. Remember, folks, no more Fearless Draft. It is standard drafting now. Anything played in the first game is still available, as opposed to what happened in the group stage, where that was different. EDG taking a very different approach to what's happening here in the red side, banning away a lot of AD carries on the red side. Aphelios and Ezreal both being removed very, very early into the draft. We do have Corki Tristana still left available. That does mean likely we're one of them first picked. EDG, do you really want to ban away either of them? No, they banned the Rumble instead. Obviously, it looks like either maybe Ashe or Tristana is first pick. Because it's Fofo, I'd always support picking up that Tristana. EDG left to pick up the remainders of the AD matchup. You assume that it's going to be the Corki response. So it's a flip of the mid lane matchup that we saw in that first game. And then we'll have to see what also they answer with after that point. Other power picks available. Again, we mentioned that Ashe. There are some of the AP farming junglers as well. For JJ, typically we want to see him on stuff which can impact the game very early, but also has some of that engaged potential later on. The Lilia did feel like it was pretty good for him. Changing things up though. Last game, Leave really struggled to reposition in the fight. If you have a jungler, an AD carry rather, that allows you to reposition without using summoner spells like the Kai'Sa ult, maybe that changes things for them. So, very different draft coming in from EDG already. Kai'Sa and Zyra. It's not JJ on something which can impact the game as early. It's not something which is the big teamfight initiator either, so that is a bit of a worry, but maybe this is just better for Leave. On the other side, Abel also gets himself a repositioning AD carry in that Zeri. Zeri, Kai'Sa, both very, very good AD carries are kind of working their way around fights, either with movement speed and the E with the dash over the wall from the Zeri, or just the ult from that Kai'Sa on the other side. Very mobile carries on both sides. You can imagine the Corki is going to come in on 3 for Cryan. Would make a lot of sense. Whereas Yang Xian takes the brand, the Zyra is taken away, locks in that brand instead. So we still have AP jungle AD mid for both teams, and that Corki on 3, exactly what we ended up predicting on that. Second round of the draft. No supports picked up again. This is something which happened through into first draft of the day. This game, though, there's not going to be the top lane picked up for blue side before the second round picks as well. So all of the picks have been matched, which means that you don't get yourself like an easy counter pick coming in on pick 4 from EDG. They could have been able to do that if that were the case, which means that maybe you start banning away some blind picks as WE. They're banning away that Gnar, which has come up into priority somewhat. Don't necessarily think it's worth a ban, but hey, we have seen a lot of priority on it, and sometimes you just ban away stuff you know that the enemy team thinks is valuable. Can be worth it in that own sense. Ral, Alistair, big engage options taken away by EDG. They'll maybe like it looking for a Nautilus 4th pick at this point, which would be, of course, banned away by WE. So what else have we got in terms of engage? Nautilus, Leona, Alistair, Ral, all of them are gone. Really, really hard to find yourself those big engages now. With AD carries locked in too, it's not really like you can get yourself an Ashe. Rakan is the last remaining engage option. What else have you got? It's really, really hard to find yourself ways into fights. WE, they don't have big engage. The Renekton's okay there. And they go towards Maokai support because everything else is off the table. That's how much our engaged champions have been stripped away from this draft. Mark going towards something which we saw an awful lot of in spring and throughout 2023 as well, but not really been seen nearly as much. EDG, they've also found themselves their engage option in the Rakan. One thing which is going to become quite apparent in this kind of draft, though, is the fact that there is only one thing which is engaging for either side, and it makes it really easy to counter it. So if Maokai throws his ult out, one of the things which you can do with the Cassante is just stand in front of it, you press W. That can stop the engage. On the other side, the Rakan's going in, but yes, the Rakan can get engages. He's not that tanky when it comes to this class of champion right now. Like, he can get blown up by the likes of the Brand if he gets a good combo onto him, the Tristana getting to bust shot it out. I think the team fights in this game is going to be really, really quite difficult to execute on, just because those engaging champions are going to find it really, really hard to play their job. I think this draft, with all of those engaged options taken away, has left ourselves with some very different compositions compared to that first game. I think Leave being on something which can reposition really helps him. He struggled in that first game, and he's, let's be honest, struggled throughout most of this summer. JJ on the Zyra, not something which I necessarily like on the other side. And Shen, I don't know whether I like this brand or not, because this is something we will just have to see. He has got himself that MVP from that first game, gets himself that game 1 of the LPL. 100% MVP rate for his LPL tenure so far. Goes on towards the brand now. Very different AP jungle as he tries to keep up the pressure. Onto JJ, one of the greatest junglers that the LPL has ever seen. It's not an easy debut, but then again, how else are you going to earn your stripes? Getting towards that game 2. Closer and closer. down here in the Nirvana group. The losing teams from their groups playoffs in this stage for a last chance at survival to potentially get themselves a playoff spot. So we head ourselves back onto the Rift. Well, I was just waiting about to see if we'd get myself in gyos. Do we have them back in there? Well, if there are gyos in the background, I can't hear them, so there we go. Back onto the Rift. And Xi'an, it's WE's home arena. They won that first game, and it looked pretty good. EDG looking towards this Zyra now to see if they can find themselves a bit of a different flavor of success from the jungle. JJ really felt like he was the star of that game, won even in the losing game for his team at least. What we've typically seen about Zyra is that sometimes you can invade and go in for a level 1 kind of disruption of those plans, but hasn't really been something we've seen consistently outside of, I mean, Fun plus Phoenix, they really like to do it. Not every team looks towards that in the same way. WE, they don't really have themselves a strong level 1, so they can do that all the same. So we're expecting JJ to get himself that fast Zyra clear again. Last game, Yan Xian had himself a 254 clear. So folks, if you want to keep an eye on that timer, let's see whether he can do anything similar to that one. He loses one plant there at the start. You do sometimes want to tank up some of the damage so your plants can survive and can keep DPSing. JJ, we will keep very close eyes on that to see whether they can get themselves a quicker clear than Yang Xian in that first game. Hey, Mazel, how's it going?
Does this World Championship give him any buffer room, any handicap? Taking time away from him, add time?
You know what, that's a great question. So, all I'm thinking of is, look, 2 minutes 54, that's the time to beat. I want to see whether we can do it. This is what look, if it's Zyra, you're not going to get early ganks. The thing which we get excited for is how quickly is he going to clear?
He better get a move on. We are going to actually get a little bit of a move on in bottom side as well as they follow up with the Plasm stacks there onto Mark.
So, one of the big things I was talking about coming through draft is that so many engaged supports got banned that we ended up with Rakan and Maokai, which is not really our first string. So we'll have to check that one as too. But of course, the most important thing No, go back to the Zyra. I want to see how fast they're clearing. Currently at 240. Can they get it in the next 15 seconds? I think they might just be behind it, you know. We'll have to see on that one. But all the same.
All right. Use your mind. Paint the picture. Is he taking it? Is it in time?
He's on 22. He needs to get to 24. He's just slower. He's just slower. Yang Xian wins out. He wins out in the Zyra Jungle Clear Olympics, and he gets himself what? I think it was 256 or something like that from JJ across his full play. He's still really quick and can still get into mid lane.
But if he gets the kill, I was gonna say maybe he gets the first gank that Yang Xian didn't get last time around. Doesn't get that one either. But does cross map over towards bot side now, where he does have an angle if he wants to go for a deep collapse.
Yeah, it really reminds me of you remember the heyday of Olaf jungle, where in about, I don't know, season 7, season 6, 7, 8, that kind of time, where what you would do at that point is you would clear 30 seconds quicker than every other champion, which meant you'd have 30 seconds to just do something on the map. You can respond to things, you can make your own plays. Same kind of thing with the Zyra, where, you know, neither of those champions have great gank pressure, but if you do just walk into a lane 30 seconds earlier than your opponents can do, you can just make things happen which no one else can do. So JJ doesn't manage to find anything this time, but still, that's kind of the power of the Zyra in its own way. We're not really seeing any big moves elsewhere. Of course, the Yang Xian also on an AP farming jungle are not really going to be contributing a huge amount to the early ganks either. He also goes back to his Fate as Ashes. So I just need you to look after this for just 1 minute. I need to grab something from the other room. I'll be back with you.
And I'm starting to see both junglers kind of pinging down towards this bottom side. I'm wondering if they actually want to go for an on-spawn style setup around the dragon here, because I do expect, yeah, okay. So we see actually JJ just going back towards a reset potentially. They do have a weird lane state down here in regard of who's going to get a little bit more of that priority. Both junglers just deciding no proactivity. The Wayward is going to be pushed under turret there by solo kill in the end. Does end up almost going down. I'm
glad nothing too interesting happened while I was grabbing some caffeine from the other room. Look, some of these early games...
almost had something happen.
Well, you know, they knew I wasn't here, so they knew they just have to lay off. Just
both junglers realized they could just go farm again.
Yeah. You know what? This might be a good time. Wait, no, it's not a good time for a conversation.
Nope.
JJ, that's a slice and dice available. If you use it on that last minion, you should be able to get out fine. Yeah, he's fine. All right, cool. Good ward from him there. I think it might be worth the conversation at some point to talk about. You know, we have the Nidalee pass within LPL, where certain players get the ability to play Nidalee because they're good enough for it. Not many people get it. I wonder if we're getting to a similar point. We hold on to that thought.
Everybody
Abel.
gets it. They're just not all verified. Abel, though, he's unverified in this one because he's just down and out. That is first blood over to EDG, and it goes over to Wink.
All right, okay, so that's a kill on that bot side. Abel gonna lose his cleanse, lose a minion or two to this tower as well, and it's some gold over to EDG. You know, that came out of really nowhere. We did say that the different supports being available, because so many of the engaged supports were banned, might change things in the game in the team fights, also changes things in the laning phase. One thing which I was going to talk about was completely on the other side, was in regards to the Renekton, because it feels like a lot of teams in the LPL have been playing the Renekton so far. Not many teams have been getting as much value out of it. I think that... Ooh, that's going to be close on the bomb. It's not going to kill completely. But when you've got players like 369... Bin, I think Breed's on there too, you can kind of justify it. Wayward has been really good at dunking down on other top laners. He was the gatekeeper top laner of Spring. That's kind of how we referred to him, because he was really good against the lower tier top laners. Couldn't quite match that against the top ones in the same way. But I'm interested to see who we can add to the list in regards to the Renekton too, because we've seen some good and some very non-impactful games at the same time from it.
Yeah, I've just always failed when players are willing to blind pick something like that all the time. It's actually hilarious to me. This is also another game that we get a trade of the early objectives outright. So 3 grubs did end up going to Team WE while we look at the bot lane play.
So, I mean, this is just Mark and Abel just disrespecting the damage coming through. Rakan early damage can sometimes catch you off guard, and yes, the cleanse was in for the ignite, but Abel gets hit by the W as well, gets hit by the Q, gets just mashed against the wall. So Abel, despite the fact that I do think this area is really, really strong in the meta right now, you can't really fall behind too far. It's not too far right now, of course it isn't. It's just like, it's only 100 gold behind right now, but need to just keep an eye on that. It's not the easiest game to play a Zeri into because you're outranged quite heavily, and you don't have the best engage options on your own team to pin people down in front of the Zeri, but it's just something to keep an eye on.
I think the team fight impact is going to be super important to think about. I still think there's so many cool little avenues for WE in front of objectives and things like that in terms of how they want to work around those. I think there are some really nice spacing tools in that poke that you'll have available for EDG again, kind of in some regards of what shades we saw in that game number 1. Now JJ will end up seeing an angry burning man in his bushes, and now he's gonna get the power plasm on him. We know one thing that plants hate, and it's fire, baby.
Wildfire in the jungle. Someone call the firefighters. Goes down very quickly. Fight on the bot side.
Uh-oh. Wink overextends himself a little bit. Lightning Crash will end up being used down there. The Flash did get burned by Wink.
All right, so 2v2 still has some action in it. And Jiangxian, you know what? Credit to this guy. Walks away with... Look, he gets the MVP from game 1. Did he deserve it necessarily? Look, I think Mark was really, really good. But all the same, Jiangxian had a strong game in game 1 against JJ, one of the better junglers we have in the LPL. Gets a solo kill in the enemy jungle. Oh, no, it wasn't a solo kill. It was a slight bit... Look, it's basically a solo kill in the enemy jungle as well. Onto his opposing number. I think Jiangxian, coming out of basically... Well, I'm not going to say out of nowhere. He was on the W Academy team with the likes of... Stay and Kadaya and Bulukaka, a lot of these LDL names which have gotten a fair amount of notoriety. But he wasn't necessarily the star on that roster. The fact that he's come in and had a solid first series in the LPL, that's quite interesting to see. I didn't think this was going to be a match, a change rather, that would immediately make a difference to WE, but it's been pretty good so far.
And every win matters. Every game matters. A single round robin here. Determine if you can continue going on in the split. It's important to keep as much momentum as humanly possible as well.
You just missed a W onto a stationary target.
Don't worry.
We'll not talk about that one, shall we?
Leave is redeploying up towards topside here. A bit interesting, because you will have the eventual collapse of Wink coming up here, but maybe trying to get prepped up so that they can stop this grub again.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Need to see what else is happening across the map. Solo Kill will have his teleport just in time for it. He'll be up in very soon beyond this point, of course, for 10 minutes to get the Unleashed teleport, which means you can get across anywhere now. You can now target to... God, that's one of the things which I keep forgetting about. 10 minutes, you can now you can teleport to wards or any targetable ally effectively. Gosh, it feels like such a long time ago that was changed, but I still remember. I remember back when you could cancel teleports yourself and you could like halve the cooldown of it. That was cool. Not good for the game, but it was a very different time back then. We've had to nerf teleport an awful lot over time. Anyway, we'll see whether Solar Kill can get himself up towards this top side. Wayward doesn't have it himself. He'd have to walk his way to the play if he'd like to. And as it stands, not contesting, so EDG will just currently split the difference.
Which I think is... perfectly fine in some regards. If maybe W want to capitalize on moving into EDG. JJ is the focus right now. He strangled Thorns, but it's not going to hit anybody there in the end. Now it's Mark that's in trouble, though. EDG were the ones that collapsed. He had him in the first half there, apparently. Wayward's going to pop Dominus. Maybe it's his time to shine. He does get locked down, and EDG have a fine exit here through the top side. JJ ending up flashing over the wall. The lightning crash popped by Abel. Nothing else of it. There will be that trade in the end. Leave! He finds Abel. Not able to follow him up, though.
That seems like a bit of a wasted flash there from Leave. Weird fight all in all. WE, they are sort of slow to responding to that play. They still go for the fight afterwards, even though they end up losing Maokai very early on into it. EDG walk away without any of the grubs, but they do walk away with the extra kill. Really weird, just all in all. So it's going to end up being, what, 3 grubs a piece, and neither side getting themselves up towards the higher numbers. Mark starts with the Maokai ultimate. This is one of the big problems we have, though, which is both of the teams in this game have very limited engage, which means that the Stranglethorns, like it was there for JJ, ends up keeping someone out, because there's no follow-up engage after that one thing's gone down. And yeah, it's just really hard to stick to your targets. JJ, he can be such a disengaging menace beyond this point. He even flashes out and stops Abel getting his ultimate through there. It really does feel like that could be the story later into the game. I think with so little engaged, the Brand and the Zyra are going to be really hard to lock down, and they might just win the game by themselves.
That's what's so crazy to me is that I wanted to see a little bit more like kind of in-your-face style from JJ, but both of them perfectly fine to be on impactful later decision-making junglers now as well, since we haven't really gotten any big advantages super early here. Just about 1,000 gold, a little bit more so for WE so far.
And they do have that Tristana, but there's every chance they can put Fofo into a side lane where he can do things. Dragon is spawned. Big fight, Wink going in. Ooh.
It's a little bit dicey on that one. The Stranglethorn going to come back. There's the killer instinct from Leave, though, and Mark's now dead, too. Pyroclasm is doing work. They get the reset there for Fofo, and he's going to make it out alive as well. JJ, he's burning. Abel wants him, and lightning crashes him to death.
Abel really wanted that kill this time. Couldn't get it around the grubs. Gets it there. Wayward going to get himself a plate. The cost of a couple of turret shots. Crying is still here.
Yeah, he is. He's just trying to get some poke damage down. I'll try to maybe steal one of these with a rocket barrage. Abel's going to step over, say, they have vision. That's why. A little bit of poke, though, coming in. Leave crying.
Dude.
Do have that distance damage.
This whole game is just so strange. We've got all of these really frantic, split, back and forth fights. It feels like most of these team fights are just someone getting isolated in a 1v1 on the side of a fight. It's really, really hard to get organized front-to-back team fights when you don't have really good tank front lines at this point, when you don't have great engage. You know, Wink is the one engage tool, and he misses. Mark on the other side is the Maokai as well, but, you know, the short-range ultimate isn't that big. He ends up going down for his own engage. The engagers are at such high threat when they go in, it's really hard for them to kind of stick the landing after they make their initial entrance.
Yeah.
We're going to see, folks, we're going to see a lot more of this throughout the game. I don't really see how this changes that much. The Cassante being a frontline might change some things, but it's not going to be that much. I feel like these fights are going to be really hard to really stick to the right targets.
And I don't know if I would expect anything less than chaos between these two teams for this one. The opener for WE, the second series for EDG, already having come away with the victory earlier. And now, WE are actually just going to start up the Rift Tower with no contest right now. They actually have moved. Okay. EDG say they want to make a play on a Wayward down here.
Do they?
Okay.
Can you really? They're just like, okay, we'll teleport in, try and get the turret. Can they get that turret down? Of course, no turret plates left now because it's beyond 14 minutes. It's a full health beat. It's a full HP turret. Like, it's not even like you're getting that much there. It's Wing coming down, has ult, they have Ignite. Okay, now they are making a play onto Wayward, but it feels like it's happened so slowly that Fofo gets advantage on the other side. It's not even like it's a fantastic cross map. He pulls out the emote, pops the Dominus, he knows what's coming.
We all know Wayward to be an emotive guy. Now he's going to have to emote his way to victory here. He clears the wave a little bit there, but does get locked down in the end by a solo kill. They are taking a tier 2 in topside with a Rift Herald 2 for WE.
Well, that's exactly the thing. He ends up clearing the wave, which means they have to wait now for another wave to kill that turret. WE take a top lane inner turret. EDG, their macro this series has just been really quite suspect. I think game 1, when JJ was on a more impactful early game pick, he could force plays in the side lane a lot easier with that Lilia. It's not nearly as easy to do that on the Zyra. His team fights might be more impactful just because of the amount of damage you can do from safety because of the lack of engage, but I really feel like giving up this much gold over to WE and particularly over to Fofo, who's now 2,500 gold up into Tristana, that's that ain't really what you want.
Not necessarily. Maybe in some parallel universes, maybe.
Could you imagine like interdimensional cable but for League, the parallel universe? So you've got like each TV channel is just each different TV channel is a different AD carry build. Maybe it's just a different Ezreal build.
There's no jungles.
Every lane is an AD carry now. You've got well at this point you pretty much can make a full team of AD carries. You can make we've seen like Zeri, Tristana, Lucian top at different points of the past, Vayne top, Graves, Kindred jungle, all of the different AD carries you got in mid lane right now, actual AD carries in bot lane, and then of course Ashe, Varus, Kalista support. It makes sense.
Solo kill TP down here, and WE were trying to make a play, so he immediately has to back off as they lose the outer tower here. Some more standing gold going to WE, and they find themselves 3,000 gold up now. And
most of that is all in the pockets of Fofo. They get another turret into the Tristana, and it's not the 6 grubs Tristana, but it is still Tristana with some grubs and the ability to just absolutely crap on towers. So Fofo is going to get ungodly fed. Crine finally gets himself to a turret up here, but it's not like WE can't defend this. They're moving up here in force. I do think that WE will just be able to defend that turret too. EDG behind on macro again.
Oh, wink. Does not end up getting CC'd down from Xiang, as EDG do take a brunt of damage as they try to move out on the map a little bit. There is an elephant in the room, and it's got wings, and it's called a dragon.
Is that what a dragon is? Is this your like
elephant with wings?
Is this your like opinion as a zookeeper? Is that the one?
Yes, my official opinion. I do wonder though, because I think EDG are gonna want to clear some of this vision out. I think that's something I've really liked from WE so far this game is their vision control has really been on point across the river spans, and right now they're looking to get this mid or outer to potentially snowball into that objective.
How have WE run from top side to bot side to mid lane, getting towers in every lane without a good contest? EDG have been massacred when it comes to the big objectives across the map. There is a dragon spawning. It's not even soul point though from the side of EDG. What do you do now against such a fed Tristana? There's a little bit of poke coming out, and that is going to tick up over time. He has a Vamp Scepter though, so it's not even like that's going to be the absolute killer blow.
All right, Crine does end up taking the outer tower and top side. They were trying to get a push by Wayward on the tier 2 and bottom side. Xiang is just going to take this one down. It'll be second dragon secured by Team WE here.
Yeah, and EDG, they do take themselves top lane outer turrets. They finally get themselves a response to what's happening with WE across the map, but it feels just so little in response to it. And you know, I think this is a good time to talk about how so just before you came in at the start of the day, I was talking about how WE, they're facing a bit of a Ship of Theseus kind of problem now, where you have this boat, you keep replacing each of the planks of the wood, and you keep replacing bits of the ship. After how long does it remain the same ship? Because if WE replaced, they replaced LP, or they replaced Stay and Iwandi from Spring, and they brought in LP and then Mark. Well, then they put in Abel, and now they put in Yangxian in the jungle. That's 3 out of the 5 pieces removed. And yet still, in this game, we are still seeing a lot of how WE play the game. I wonder how much of this is just about how their solo laners play. Wayward is currently caught out though, so speaking of that, he might just die for free.
He's gonna get the flash, quickness, locking him down. There you go. The point I'll have to say is those pieces, they might have worked at one time though, and they were taken off and shipped other places. Because you think of like the talent that has come that WE have tried to develop through their system that have brought up from the LDL squads, and now obviously a changing of the guard in that kind of regard. But you think back to Shanks and the likes of that, and kind of the moments of brightness we saw. I mean, Shanks was with the team for 3 years, and I think we saw a ton of growth from him a lot of the time, but not able to rise above to the next level. And WE wanted to make some changes.
It's been a long time since WE have been... okay, I don't want to sound too harsh. It's been a while since that WE have been kind of relevant towards the top end of the table.
Since they've been World Elite?
Okay, not quite that long. They were still pretty good in like season 5, 6. When was
It's a double entendre, okay?
Okay, all right. Oh wait, no, that okay. Look, okay, it's still kind of early for me. It's earlier for you.
Yeah,
Wait, hang on. No. It's not even that early for me. It's like 12:30 now. I'm just a late riser, I guess, all the same. But yeah, WE, they have had a revolving door of a roster now for a little while. We're even going to see 2 of the carries they had on the roster on anyone's Legend later today, because we have Shanks and Hope, who were on WE last year. They'll be playing later. The fact that WE have made so many aggressive changes to their roster, just continually changing out pieces in the hopes of finding something special, it's really risky. I have to say, I'm not a huge fan. I felt like in Springer you should have kept Iwandi or whatever, but, you know, at least they found something now.
It's funny you say that, because I feel like I've heard that story before. I feel like there's been another team that's had a lot of changes. I feel like it's a team that's maybe called EDG.
That's a really good point.
It's actually two organizations that have done massive changes to what was some developing rosters they've been sticking with for a long time. Now we see Wayward fighting his way out of a 2v2 now. That Fofo comes in to join, and Solo Kill's in trouble now. They are going to get the lockdown on Solo Kill and give over the kill. No, the flash! Fofo wants to get it, though. Does not have the vision. One more auto attack. It's not enough. Oh, Cassante doing Cassante things.
I thought he'd given up all of his tech stats. He was in his all-out form. 100% should have died. WE, they do finally protect Wayward in the side lane. It does cost Fofo both of his summoners, so maybe that will slow down what WE want to do in the next few minutes. This Tristana is so fed all the same. He should be getting his 3rd item on the next back, which will be in time for the next dragon coming up in 1 minute 30. Of course, the next big fight, which happens now at this point, will probably lead to a Baron, and that's something which we need to be very careful of kind of watching how the game unfolds, because it feels like one Baron could potentially bring EDG way back into the game. They're the ones which are behind in turrets right now. If they get Baron, that would end up swinging the game massively back in their favor. WE.
Do it.
I mean, they're aware there's a Zyra on the other side, and the ward just disappeared. They do have to be careful.
Did they know? Listen to the Emperor. Okay, I was gonna see if maybe Xiang gets caught there with JJ looking for it. W are gonna reposition up towards this top side of the map, though, and again, EDG are kind of fine if W are the one first in place, because you have a lot of poke to be able to follow things up. They just want to make sure that they weren't doing the Baron, just in case. The thing is, though, we will have distraction across the map, though, in just a little bit. As Fofo completes his 3rd item, there's a dragon in about 30 seconds. Yeah,
he gets that Bloodthirster, which means that JJ, who was looking for poke onto Fofo before, won't be able to find it onto the Tristana nearly as easily. We'll have to put that onto, realistically, Yangxiang at that point, because it's really hard to get it onto the lifesteal 80 carries from WE EDG. They do quickly go towards top side, making sure that if W were to go towards that dragon too quickly, then there was every chance that they go towards the plants on the Baron. It is that Zyra, and because there's so little engaged, you can just put down that ult and threaten the disengage should W try and go too hard onto them.
They're going to get caught trying to leave here, though. Cryan is completely away from the rest of his team. Lightning crashes from Abel, who's really the front line right now. It feels like Wayward throws up the emote as he gets locked down by the Stranglethorns. Nothing else there. A couple ultimates burned on the side of Team WE, as well as EDG.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like the Stranglethorns is really important for EDG. It's a huge disengage tool in a game with not that much engage, so it just gets to counter, you know, almost the entire composition. Problem is, EDG have now used that. It's going to leave it very open towards the dragon. On the bot side, WE, it's not the cleanest play, but that they don't walk away with any particular losses. They take that dragon for free. It is such a slow game.
It really is. Fofo just literally soloed the dragon. That's just beyond hilarious to me. 3-item Spike. Tristana does some nutty things, it feels like. But WE have used their comp pretty well. This is kind of an EDG comp that they were set up for success with. Got a lot of the pieces they were looking for. And WE just are out executing, at least early. The almost 3,000 gold lead in the middle individually is definitely helping that regard. And we see how much this Tristana has risen in priority and to benefit for a lot of mid laners in the LPL.
Tristana does everything. Has escapes, has scaling, has lane pressure, has tower destroying, can reposition in fights. I think Flicker Blades has also just been so powerful for this champion, because if you jump forwards and you just get to hit a minion wave, you get to jump backwards. You don't have that same lockout, like the 20-second cooldown of your W. That Tristana, without something like the Navori Quick Blades or Flicker Blades, whichever version of it had in the past. It makes it so powerful in a lot of these scenarios. Folks, most of this game is being determined by the fact that there is no engage. It's really hard to make those fights stick, which is why the Gings are slowing down. We are playing around side lanes. EDG, they do have some big items, particularly onto Cryan and JJ. Those are going to be really important to watch. I want to see also whether Leave also ends up going towards more of a pokey build. If he goes towards a Nash's, maybe he can join in on that front.
This has been a dicey section for EDG to walk out of every time in this little choke. WE are always threatening and engaged. They also have the Nature's Grasp available for Mark. That is really the kickoff button for WE. Some of that poke starting to come online.
It's the only button. They don't have anything else. It's literally just, that's the one thing that's going to happen. And the worst thing as well is that you have a McHale's on the side of Wink. You have one thing which you can engage, and it's going to get immediately nullified. I love this game. I love League of Legends. I love seeing nothing happen for forever. WE, they got really far ahead through side lanes, but it feels like even that stalled out. They're not pushing onto inner turrets at this point. Wayward was killed a couple of times in the side lanes, and oh boy, we're just waiting for one really big play.
It's the mind, isn't it? It's just you have to think of all the things that could possibly happen.
Oh wow, I'm waiting for my imaginary friend Leona, because they'll save us from this one. Leona Nautilus. Look, folks, I know so many people out there were really annoyed at the years of Leona Nautilus, and I do understand it was really boring for a little while, but they did at least make the game a lot faster place where you don't have to deal with bullcrap moments like this. So, once again, we just sat around a river, we just sat around wave clearing for forever, waiting for that first blow to be hit. We're just ping-ponging waves back and forth. I'm kind of surprised that WE haven't moved into one side of the jungle with force, but I guess it's hard because EDG can rush Baron so quickly with both the Kai'Sa and the Zyra, they can't leave top side alone ever. So they can't go towards bot side, but they can't go towards top side because the EDG are hovering over there so much as well, and they don't want to walk into like a 4-man grouped unit. So, I mean, yeah, it's just nullifying extreme. At least there are Bloodthirsters on the side of Fofo and Abel, so they can shrug off some of the damage. I really need to see them find an aggressive option, though, because this is going to be such a slow burnout game otherwise.
The Terminus was completed for Leave, so he has a little bit more tankiness on
Here we go.
his side of things. Oh,
it's not going to do anything.
Bye-bye, kitty.
Not like this.
All right, let's wait for how long is the ultimate cooldown?
It's too long. It's rank 1. Here goes Wink.
Oh! Wink has his turn. Oh, okay. Well, now Mark dies. At least they get one. That's big. They carve up the tree, and now EDG, they could threaten over to this top side of the map. Wayward is waiting in the bush though. Angry Croc in the river is spotted out though, and Leaf can chase him down. Yeah, look at this damage that Leaf is putting out now on the Kai'Sa. 004, but still 3 items does work.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit worried here for WE. EDG, they find a huge amount of damage there. That's Leaf going in!
Leave, that's bold, but he's got the Terminus. He's able to tank pretty heavily, but that explosive charge and the damage from Mabel gets him down. That was a bold one, friend, and Clear Love might have some words for you after that one. And it might involve a ruler as solo kill goes down to WE. Just completely dashed all of your doubts, Nymera.
Abel is done with this. I'm so happy this player exists, and the bot lane revolving door comes up with a new entrance into Hotel WE. It is the aggressive AD carry. Abel flashes forwards. Leave. He puts himself into an awful spot. Maybe have just jumped EDG to a 0-2.
And that is 2 games we've seen Leave have a couple rough spots to lend out the game, and now Wink just goes down. WE, they will make their mark in their first series here in Group Nirvana. It is a 2-0 sweep over EDG.
Yeah, I think I said this the other day, but I think that EDG will want to.
Got a jersey for him.
They'll wanna like bleach this record of this game, because that was not it. That was really not it. Leave. he has had some game-losing moments for his team. I don't want to put it down to just him. I think that team composition is hard to play out, but I feel like EDG were just about to get the leg up on their opponents. I feel like they just got impatient towards the end, and it's really sad to see because it felt like that game was largely in their, well, sliding towards them. Just get a little impatient and they throw the game away. It's so sad to see.
Let's go. Yan Xiang gets his first win. First series.
And he had a good game. I mean, the brand was... Look, that was a hard game to play the brand in. Everyone's out of range of you. You don't really get to do that much. But still, the fact that Yang Xian was playing in the style which W wanted to still. I don't think that W's style has changed that much, you know. They're still playing around, largely around getting gold from side lanes, looking for a big team fight engage later on, but they're waiting to see whether Fofo and Wayward can get their own individual side lane advantages and use that to roll over into a game. EDG, on the other side, look lost. I think Leave has really... I think Leave and Cryan are both struggling to the point where EDG cannot rely on them to teamfight effectively. That is a big issue. They are not putting out damage. They have some of the lowest DPMs in the entire league right now, and it's a huge issue. So EDG, they might be looking at not just, you know, sliding out of Group A. They had a good first round robin. They might be looking now at an early exit from this entire summer split.
I just think it's a really rough situation there because we have seen some good moments from EDG, but a couple slip-ups and maybe some introspection needed by Leave.
Yeah. Right. Well, I feel bad for JJ in this series, not gonna lie. But I often do when it comes to EDG series. I mean, I think Wink had a hard enough job.
Against the new jungler too? Like, come on, you couldn't even let him...
Yeah.
Like, the man's a world champion.
He's been trying quite a lot, folks. He has been trying quite a lot. So, WE walk away with a 2-2-0. And that means we're set up nicely for our second series of the day, which is Anyone's Legend versus LGD. We'll wait for the MVP, I guess, from this game, and then we'll switch over to that. Is it in 20 minutes? It's starting out. I hadn't seen.
I think so. Isn't it at the hour?
Yeah,
sure.
It typically starts around then, but hey, maybe we'll catch the player walkouts and we can talk about that. But yeah, folks, just a reminder, hi, I'm Nymera. I'm joined by Mizael today. We hope you're enjoying yourselves.
Hello.
There is no official English broadcast on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. We are official LPL English casters, and we have the clean feed, so we figured, hey, why don't we just cast these games anyway? Makes a lot of sense, right? So we're doing this for your enjoyment. We're doing this to make sure that these games don't get lost to time, and hopefully that's something that you find valuable as well. So if you are tuning in or watching these games from the future at some point, it means a lot to us that you would support us in doing this as well. And plus, it's just bluntly just... Okay, most of the time it's a good time casting LPL. For periods of this game, I did wish that perhaps I'd just take my headset off, taken a walk, come back, waited until the end of the game. But hey, that's the nature of things sometimes. But yeah, we hope everyone's enjoying it, and we will continue on to the second series when that comes around.
Yeah.
EDG. I thought this team could be okay, you know.
I'm terrified of what I'm seeing on Twitter.
Yeah? What's happening on Twitter?
Yeah. Please tell me all the rumors are wrong.
Wait, which ones?
Wei is not going to
BLG. I had seen that.
I swear to God, if that actually happens,
I don't know why.
Fly to China.
Oh, because you're like Shun fan #1 as well.
Also, just like what?
Why?
There's nothing wrong with BLG. Like, they're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, well, we don't get to tell.
They literally lost one series.
We don't get to tell what's happening internally with that. But yeah, that seems so weird to me. So weird to me. Yeah. So for those of you who are out of the loop, the rumor is RNG, they didn't play Wei and Ming the other day. It was rumored because someone on RNG's organization was saying that Wei might be going to BLG. Now that doesn't mean he'd be starting, but it's just.
But before that, the rumor was that Ming and Wei were going to take time off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But there is something else official that happened, and ZDZ is officially on FPX as their new top.
Yeah, and Shallow, who's taking a break for personal reasons apparently. So that's a different thing altogether. Right. I'm just gonna. Okay, we'll wait for the MVP. Yeah, we'll wait for the MVP and then we'll switch over to the streams. I just realized we hadn't done that yet. But yeah, folks, if you're enjoying what we're doing, Mizael, if you're watching on Twitch, Mizael's handle is in the title as well. Go follow them. Go follow us on Twitter and socials. If you'd like to keep updated about what we do in the LPL and streams like this, if you miss any of these games, they are underneath the stream on Twitch in a Twitch collection. They are also uploaded individually as games on a YouTube playlist as well. So we have over 100 games which would have not have been broadcast in any other way this year so far. So we have done like a hell of a lot of games this year, and it's been fun. It's been fun. MVP, who are we getting? I mean, yeah, it had to be Abel. Yeah, this guy was consistently flashing forwards.
Honestly, I thought maybe Leave might be in it.
Yeah.
I got the guffaw, chat. I got the guffaw.
That was good. It's just the delivery on that was great. It's like, oh yeah, you know, I was just like, what do you mean? Oh, that was good. I enjoyed that. Shit, man. God's out.
Abel
All right.
actually did have a really good, good game, but also a good series. I think he's been a really welcome addition to WE.
Yeah.
Again, he wasn't playing, right? And it was a really, really interesting pickup for him to come.
Yeah. Okay, folks, I'm gonna go quickly change over our stream to make sure that we get into the right place. So I'm just gonna change over the media source and hopefully, because it should be on a second stream, I'd imagine. I think anyway. Yeah, because we do have overlapping games again. Okay, let's just see if this works. This should be the other clean feed. Let's see if it works. That's much louder. Yep, cool. So that'll be starting our pre-show soon. What is my camera? I'm using a Sony Alpha 6400, I think it is, and I'm using one of the Sigma lenses. In fact, the camera I'm using, I got advice on this from Rafa, because when I was like looking around, when all of us were all in the same kind of like tier 2 kind of casts and stuff, I was kind of like looking around to see who had the best kit, and the person who had the best camera was just Rafa's camera quality was so clean on all the tier 2 broadcasts. Like, this is honestly, it really made him stand out. I was like, damn, this guy's camera's good. So anyway, I basically have the same thing now, but I don't have the same lighting setup, so it doesn't like always consistently look as good. But also cameras cost an absolute bomb, so yeah.
I sent you a cat video.
Yeah. Because
it is a signal that I gotta go take care of the cats outside. So I'm gonna go feed them.
Okay, cool.
And I'll be back.
No worries. Okay. Well, we've got a little while to. I have an actual camera to work on. Yes, I do. Yeah. Because if you're going to level up like your if you're going to level up your like camera from webcam, it kind of has to go to a proper camera after that point. I'm going to my camera so you can see this as well. So LGD AL. This should be a fun matchup. Haichao and Meteor have been so clutch. So clutched. But I do think that Shanks is the best mid in the LPL right now. So I think Shanks is going to be able to deal with Haichao potentially, and that could be a real breaking moment. I think LGD are a great team. I really like the way that they're playing, but it's really hard to it's really hard to play against a team like AL on the form they are on currently. Got my camera back on now. They have the funkiest background music. So, when it comes to this, anything else that we should be paying attention to? So, I mean, Hope versus Xiaoya. Xiaoya has had a couple of late game mistakes recently. I think Xiaoya is one of the weaker parts of this team. Birdall has shored up. Birdall had a bad first series or two. He has been a lot better. Yeah, I don't think LGD has no chance. I don't think LGD has no chance. But I do think that they are... I think one of their strongest parts in Haichao, who I think is incredible, I think he's going to be playing against the best mid laner in the LPL, which means that it's less easy to play through mid lane. If LGD make it to late game, they have been incredibly clutch. It's AL favored. This is an AL favored matchup, but it's not completely out there. I think that Meteor has been one of the best junglers in the LPL, and I think that Croco has sometimes had off games. He's been good too. It's not like it's all completely, oh yes, fantastic or awful. I do think that Meteor can potentially outvalue I think he can potentially outvalue what Croco brings to the table. We also saw that Kyle had a really good series the other day. Oh, was that true? I'm trying to remember who I thought did better between Life and Kyle. No, I think it was Life that got the better of Kyle, thinking about it. So yeah, maybe there's a chance for sure, alright, maybe we'll see whether Jinzhao can get himself over the line against Kyle. It's not LPL unless we get pentakill during every break. True. I'm really glad they did that. I mean, it kind of sets us apart tonally as a broadcast, which is nice. Sometimes it's just good to have a tone like that, you know? Remember Ala versus Birdle 21? Yeah, that was not just the fastest Flame Horizon at an international event while discounting center stuff. It was also the largest individual CS lead we've ever seen in an international tournament, which is insane. Silver Scrapes for 15 minutes straight for Game 5. Yeah, I think that Silver Scrapes has potentially just been... Oh, we're going to go through the same, like, the graphics thing. This is when the group stage is on, by the way. This is where, like, all of the games will be played. All of the dates. You never heard Pentakill before watching LPL? Huh, really? They've had, like, you know, a couple of albums now, so... Hey, Amber, how's it going? Yep, every day. LPL is on every day of the week. It is on. It is the entire day of the week. So LPL, the LPL English broadcast is on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but it is not on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because it turns out running 7 days of broadcast every week is insanely taxing. So we're doing that on our own channels. You know, it'd be great to have LPL official broadcast every day because it would mean that, you know, we get more jobs, we get more work, basically. But yeah, it's still kind of it's cool for us to get this kind of these kind of games through because it means that we get to bring you these games. We get to have some fun with that too. So we hope. Solar Puppy, I didn't hydrate the last time you did that, so I will do that. Top Esports BLG, that should be great. I mean, I think that Top Esports come in as massive favorites, but yeah. Yeah, BLG, they're just so disrespectful in a lot of ways. Oh, we just saw the, yeah, they've just updated the scoreboard as well. So EDG now 1-1. Top Esports were much better just from the group stage too. So, folks, if you would like to have an opinion of pre-groups expectations, I did do a tier list on the teams. Now, not all of that is held true. I think that, for instance, WE now look a lot better than I thought. I think EDG look a lot worse. I think that Ultra Prime look a lot worse and IG look a lot better. Well, IG look... Well, they look fairly similar. They do look better, but not, like, hugely better. I still think they'll struggle, but hey. Yeah, it's still... There are a lot of things in that tier list which I think people can find valuable. So I hope that... Yeah, go look at that. It's on YouTube. I streamed it on here as well, so you can watch it. You can technically watch it on Twitch as well if you have a preferred platform. But Rumble stage. Should be getting through into the arena soon enough. Trying to think of any other matches we can talk about here. I mean, Ala's been a really good carry. Birdle was a carry in spring. He has moved towards kind of purely frontline now that Aatrox is kind of out of the meta. Does LGD actually have a chance? They do, but it is hard. It is AL favored. I think that if they reach late game, if they reach mid-late game and Meteor and Haichao are online, I think they've been very clutch. It is really hard to be clutch against a team like Anyone's Legend who are very, very good at responding to quick plays. They're very decisive. and they have carries across the entire board. And I think that currently, I think one of the big problems that LGD are going to have is that, you know, like, Haichao is great. I think Haichao's been fantastic so far. I think Shanks has been the best bloody mid in the league, though. So one of your strongest points in Haichao will be matched by, you know, one of the strongest players in the entire league, which is just insane. Stats for the teams. I mean, yeah, the early game stats are really good from AL. Slightly less Dragon Prio, but the thing about that is that AL, they don't go to late game as much. They don't get the chance to kill as many dragons. So, yeah. Oh yeah, for those of you in Twitch chat, Womenstein is like a huge Shanks fan for many years, so they are being repaid for that, basically. Same roster that we know from these guys. I do think that LGD, they've really gone beyond my expectations. They've found themselves in the Ascension group, which I think there's going to be great practice for them. I hope they can learn a lot from this, even if they don't necessarily succeed. I think with Weibo and LNG looking a lot better, if they continue on that form, you know what both those teams are like, LGD are going to be in a very difficult spot. I think initially I had them above LNG and Weibo, but given the series we saw from them, I think they could be in for a really rocky Ascension group stage. But hey, we'll see with that. What's happened to EDG? I just joined. Are they disbanding or something? They're not disbanding. No, not at all. They just have a really rocky roster. They've lost a lot of their key players over time. Who are the best players in LGD right now? Haichao and Meteor. Those two are very, very good players. Haichao, if he has something like LeBlanc, expect him to go absolutely off the rails. And I think that Meteor, when he's on stuff like Graves, and particularly the Kindred, he has been very, very special. So yeah, I mean, in regards to LGD, it kind of leads through to this different style from them compared to the rest of the LPL. Most of the LPL plays towards... AD mid, AP jungle. Now, what LGD sometimes do is if they get LeBlanc, they will go AP mid, AD jungle, but they'll still have the farming jungler in something like a Kindred or a Graves, which means that they still have farming jungler with a carry. But yeah. This was fantastic from Haichao. I think Haichao threw the chain out, not realizing that Knight was in... Well, he threw the chain out just kind of not expecting anything. Threw out the Q and the minions, still ends up getting the kill. Insane. LGD beat BLG, by the way. They beat BLG. Yep. How did they beat BLG? Huge late game clutch moments. Meteor and Birdol, no, not Meteor and Birdol. Meteor and Haichao were incredibly clutch. Incredibly clutch. So yeah, they ended up taking the last series win versus BLG. And BLG, they also just disrespected them pretty huge. So yeah, I mean, BLG, they lost that team. AL, I think, so I was, by the way, folks, if you hear people talking about where, oh, no one's hyping up AL, and like, I was the first person to this, folks, I was the first goddamn person to say that AL would make it towards Worlds. I think that they are currently in position to go fourth place to Worlds. We will see whether that continues, but I really think this team is in with a good shot. So we'll see whether they can keep up towards those expectations. Shanks is on incredible form. They have carries across the entire map. Hope has been versatile. He plays absolutely everything. I think Kyle has been an unsung hero. Croco's been fine in the AP jungle meta as well. I think if there is a weak point, it is sometimes that Croco and Kyle can get outvalued by other jungle supports. But even then, that's not always a hard and forward fast roll. I think that Kyle has been fantastic on the whole too. So yeah, AL, this is the team to watch. This is the team to watch from the LPL. If you are not familiar with LPL and you only know the big teams like JDG, Top Esports, BLG, this is the next team you should be paying attention to. I think that Anyone's Legend are, for me, an incredible team. They are showing massive signs of growth, and I hope they can keep growing, because I think this team has shown a lot of good stuff. Tabe coming in as coach for this team, who coached BLG to success last year, and is one of the few coaches which I do genuinely think has massive visible impact on teams, has been doing a lot of work here with AL as well. What top team has AL beaten so far? They beat NIP within the group stage twice, and NIP, you know, they were a top 4 team in spring, and then they went on to beat Fun Plus Phoenix in their first series in summer as well. So they've had themselves no top team. I don't think they are top 3, but I do think they will beat anyone outside of the top 3, or at least it depends whether Weibo and LNG turn up again. But I think that AL, they are looking like for me, the 4th best team in the league, and I think they are looking really, really good. Oh, I need to run an ad break now, just before we go through into the stage and stuff, because otherwise we're gonna get to a point where you get stuff within game. So, folks, I'm gonna run ads. You're not gonna miss anything important. I'll say everything again through that as well. If you don't want ads, you can always drop a Twitch Prime where you can watch on YouTube or whatever. But yeah, I just need to do that just so we don't get ads in game, and that would actually be annoying. So, folks, I will. If you are gonna see those ads, I will see you in a minute. Get yourself a drink, keep yourself hydrated, and come back for more LPL news and stuff and whatever. Are my 4 picks to go to Worlds? Let me just have a look at this. What is that? BLG Toppies was JG and AL. At the moment, yes. At the moment, yes. You have no idea how mad disappointed I was when Tabe left in December. Yeah, I don't know what happened on that roster. The fact that Tabe left is... I don't know. I feel like Tabe was doing a lot of great work there. And of course, he left before Knight even joined. Knight was, yeah, you know, they had Yagao back then. Knight ends up joining, so... I don't know. I don't know. I feel like not having Tabe means you lose a bit of direction for your team. Because Tabe does have a very... He does direct teams in a very certain way. You can tell the way that he plays. Or likes the game to be played. You know, very quick response teleports. Very decisive map movements. Very punishing style of League of Legends, where if you're out of position once, then they pounce very, very quickly. And AL have shown that in exactly the same way that BLG showed that as well. It's fascinating to see. BLG, if you watch before spring playoffs last year, they were very disparate. They had good players, but they couldn't quite use all of it. And yeah, I think that Tabe revolutionized that team, and you could genuinely see the impact he has on a team. Not many I think a lot of coaches are overpraised for what they do. Tabe, I think, is one of the few which does need to be praised more. Doesn't LPL get 5 teams in Worlds this year because of second place in MSI? That gives them their 4th slot, not their 5th slot. So they get 4 teams, not 5. Last time when I was mad at BLJ's boss was when they just used Uzi for promoting the team instead of helping him to come back from retirement. Yeah, BLG really did try and buy their way to success, and they ended up finding their way to it. They grew their way into it with the homegrown bot lane and jungle. I know Shun was on it was IG and stuff like that, but I think and of course Elk was Jomong and he was there before for a while, but yeah. Some guy was saying Tabe asked for a raise, but the boss said no, so he left. Imagine spending money on Knight and not on Tabe. Yeah, I think there's something to that. I think that there is something to that. Oh boy. I'm hoping this is a good series. It should be a good series, but I'm hoping, you know. So what matchups are people excited for coming up in LPL? What matchups are... Let me go find some. What have we got?
I am back.
Howdy, howdy. I was saying, what matchups... I was asking chat what matchups they're excited for coming up in, like, the next few days / week.
I think, isn't Top Esports BLG soon?
That's on Friday, yeah. That should be really good. Okay, so that's on Friday. We have... I mean, JGG FPX tomorrow is pretty good, thinking about it. That should be pretty fun. We have LNG Weibo on Wednesday. I don't... If they both have the series they just had, and then they completely crap the bed on Wednesday, it would be so funny. Well, thank you for the bits, Woob. But I don't really know what bits do, by the way. I mean, it's just like a yay. I get that it's cheering and stuff. I don't quite get the concept of bits on Twitch. Does anyone? What are they there for? You can get some, like, there's like the leaderboard, right? Where you, like, at the top of the stream, you get like a leaderboard for who's done that. But I don't quite get what bits are. Oh, it's donation. It's just donations. Okay, cool. It's income. I mean, yeah, it gives me money. I fucking love bits. Great. Oh, it's for text to speech. Well, I can't really do text to speech while we're in, like, wait, I thought bits text to speech, is that it? What? Why do you have... What? Why do you have so many of these? What the hell? One bit is like, oh, okay, it's basically nothing then, Jesus. So you have to pay a load of bits and it's inflated in terms of it. Does LNG have any chance to win all of... What, do you mean LNG or LGD? LNG aren't playing today. Wait, what else have we got? I mean, I'm just excited to see anyone's Legend play all of the top teams. that might be a bit of a cop-out, but I'm just excited to see anyone's Legend at all, because I think they're just... We haven't seen them versus all the top teams yet. I want to see exactly how good they are.
Yeah.
And
this is not going to be that, though.
Well, I do like LGD, but I think the problem is stylistically this is a hard matchup. Because just Haichao and Meteor are what wins LGD games. They're up against Shanks, who's the best mid laner in the league. So I genuinely think he's the best mid laner in the league right now. He's looking so good. So Haichao's going to be in a really hard matchup. Maybe if they get like a LeBlanc Kindred angle or something like that again, it can work. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard. If they reach late game, they're pretty clutch. Well, Haichao and Meteor are. Xiaoya's less so. But they're pretty clutch when it comes to late game. But that's about it when it comes to win conditions.
Fortunately, Haichao can also be the reason why they lose their series a lot.
He does outplay himself sometimes. But I think he's been better in summer at that. I mean, when they played against BLG, both of his game wins there were really good.
Well, I guess it's going to be time for LGD to show up or shut up. Honestly, it's still, I think a lot of people will be surprised to see LGD in the
Essential
group
group, yeah.
Ascend. Because maybe in track record hasn't been the greatest recency.
Oh yeah, no, LGD they're starting their 5-year climb a little earlier this year. They only do well in multiples of 5s in the year. So 2015 win the league, 2020, 2025's coming, folks.
On the way.
Yeah, but no, I have been pleasantly surprised by LGD. Now I do think, given how good Weibo and LNG looked in the last series, that probably shunts LGD down into a more difficult spot. God, I mean, we'll see what happens in this top group, because... I mean, LGD NIP, that could be a great series, because I think both of them might be on a similar level right now. I also think FPX are also around that kind of level too. I just want to see exactly how good this team is, you know? They have some great players. I think that they can, at peak, find themselves into great situations. It's just finding that on a more consistent level, because, you know, you have to differentiate the value between consistently showing up to a game. I think AL are a very consistent team. But then also you have teams like LGD, which are much more spiky, where they have occasional hero plays which can make them punch up, but they are also more likely to lose against mid-table teams, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I would love a translation of this video. It seems very emotive.
I'd be very interested in what the message is.
Seems like they're talking about other players, so maybe it's about rivalries. Is Angel even going to be playing? He got subbed out for Longfong, man. I don't know what the hell's going on with OMG either.
I think a lot of our teams are just searching for what works.
Yeah, but I've very rarely seen this level of just panic roster changes across the board. I mean, every team has had that. Well, so many of them have. So IG switched in a couple of players. WWE have switched in a load of players. OMG have switched in mid. Then, of course, AD carry got changed kind of forcefully against them. RNG have changed. That's like 4 from that group. Anyone else changing things? FPX. Of course, Weibo brought in Tarzan, that's different, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's like a lot of teams just changing things randomly.
And then we have a lot of our top teams not changing anything.
Yeah. Dan, I didn't see that chat in YouTube earlier, by the way. Do you have a good community site for LPL League of Legends? I'm new to the Chinese teams. I think honestly finding a way into co-streaming communities really helps. Channels like this, I Will Dominate, Casual when he's streaming it, Munchables, Karen Moser. There's a lot of good co-streamers for LPL, and that's where a lot of like the community stuff goes on. There are a number of people on Twitter which talk about it too, of course, us included. You can follow us on Twitter. Yeah, it really is. It feels like we're a little bit more disparate. There are a couple of Discord servers out there too. I have my own Discord. We talk a decent amount about LPL, and yeah, it's always a bit of a battle trying to find your way into some of these communities. Particularly because LPL's kind of upped and moved its way across different places and different, the broadcast obviously kind of ripped up and put back in place, but it's been a bit over the place too. So you kind of got to find the individuals which kind of like carry the flag through the storm at that point. So this
always carry the flag through the storm.
Yeah.
The LPL.
What's up, Romain? When did you start casting LPL? Because you've been around for the LPL scene for like a good chunk of time. 2021, nice. When did Munchable start? He was what year was he?
I think he was a year before me.
Year before you, yeah. Yeah. Wait, what's he wearing?
At the end of this year, it'll be my 4th year.
4 years of LPL. Well, congratulations. Hell of a tenure, dude.
Crazy.
So what you're saying is, you weren't quite there the last time that LGD were great in 2020.
Exactly.
Ah, you see. LGD, they, again, really, really good in multiples of 5. Anyone's Legend, they used to be Rogue Warriors. That's where they took on that organization from. And for a longest time, Anyone's Legend were a team with a great logo and not much else. The Panda Warrior. Very, very cool. Now they are more than just awesome logo. They are actually now just absolute legends, as Munchables likes to call them. This team, I think they are worlds bound. As it stands, I think this team looks really, really good. Now, all of that can still fall apart. We haven't seen them versus all of the top teams so far. Need to see them in high-pressure scenarios versus high-caliber teams. LGD, I don't think they are that high-caliber team as it stands just now, but it doesn't mean they don't have high-caliber moments and high-caliber players across some moments. So, Anyone's Legend, they will be looking for kind of like a stomp of authority, just saying, okay, this is our time facing teams outside of our group. This is us kind of going into the upper echelons of the LPL for the first time, and there's Tabe, of course. He's helped lead them to that.
I'll just say outright as well, Hope has been absolutely incredible.
Yes.
Feels like most of the games for Anyone's Legend. So,
That's
really quick nightmare before we get too far into the game. I'm stuck on.
Oh, sorry.
The last series in the.
Is this okay?
Perfect.
Sorry, if I tab out. Sorry, if I tab out from the main screen, things get a bit
weird.
We need to sort through tech issues and stuff. So I do have to tab out to change volumes of stuff sometimes because I up the volume when you go into game, so we get more of the game sounding.
Yeah.
But we're working this stuff out. Turns out we're doing stuff remotely with clean feed and stuff. It gets a little bit weird at points. But anyway, bear with us, folks, as we get through that. Be another couple of minutes before we get into draft. Of course, standard drafting now for anyone who's missed that memo. We're into the Rumble stage well and truly, which means that we don't have the fearless draft which we had in group stage. I will say, though, in the LPL, I know people get hung up on saying, oh, but there's no fearless draft, blah, blah, blah. In the LPL, we still get weird shit. We still get all the different stuff. We had a cannon mid yesterday. We had a Nasus top lane. It's not like we are dropping the insane picks just because we don't have fearless draft. LPL has always been very open to picking different stuff, and this is a good reminder of that. I think particularly for some of these teams, it does open up some big options. I think particularly for LGD, potentially having multiple games of Haichao on LeBlanc, Meteor on Kindred, which have looked super powerful on individual levels for them, that can potentially give them a little bit of a boost. How much of a boost is in question because, look, honestly, it's just really, really hard to face up against these top teams. I do still think this should probably be an AL 2-0 on paper. But if LGD can get some of those clutch hero late game moments, if they get to late game, maybe we'll have a more interesting series.
I think the picks will tell us a lot as well early on, because while I love the focus for the mid lane, especially between both these two guys, Haichao and Shanks, I think jungle, as is tradition at this point, is going to tell me a lot of how they want to kind of facilitate that, and if it's going to go more towards bot side at all, and what kind of jungle. Because in the first series, we literally just got like farming junglers across the board for both games. And I wonder if we get a little bit of change to that. Maybe like the Nidalee is a little bit more aggressive stuff.
Viego too. Both these players are Viego players, which is different. That's a good point, because I think you can normally tell what's going to happen in the early game based on what junglers you have. Most of the other lanes we're kind of settled into what's happening there. Sometimes you get a fun top lane matchup. That can change some things too. When you've got like Camille, Kennen, Rumble, yes, that does change things quite significantly. That is a is that a Powerpuff Girl Kai'Sa? That's incredible. What? Wow, I love the LPL crowd signs, man. That's so cool. What?
That was sick. It's the little things.
Okay, into draft we go. Game number 1 between LGD and Anyone's Legend. This should be a really good benchmark for both these teams. AL, we assume they are favorites, but it is quite hard to tell when they've only been playing mainly teams within their own groups at that group stage. Only a couple of series. In LGD, their first series up here, and immediately a lot of AD carry bans.
I think rightfully so. We saw what Tristana was able to do last game. I think needing to get it away is important, but I actually wouldn't mind seeing some of the engaged supports be taken off here at some point in this draft. It is the Camille as the final ban by LGD on the blue side.
I mean,
what this final walkway is going to be for AL.
I mean, Corki is still available. The thing is, I think AL, of all the teams in LPL, very happy to let someone first pick a Corki away from them and pick Yone into it, because Shanks is a monster as that champion. They don't care about the mid lane matchup as much. They ban away the Tristana, I understand that, and Hydra has been fantastic at that pick. There's some big questions now about what do you want to do with that mid lane matchup. Are you just going to allow that Yone to go through? Imagine it'll just be picked up for free. But there's also stuff like the LeBlanc available for High Cham. You can always go towards that. It really does depend on what they're going towards. Okay, going towards the champion which started off the 20-minute Baron Rush was, of course, Zyra, and it was Meteor which showed us how to do that. So they locked that in first pick.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You get a lot of strength in the setups. But I think, for me, every time I want to see Zyra, I need to see a lot of additions that go well with her. Either trying to get like teamfight set up around what the String of Thorn brings, or control around objectives.
That's a good point,
the Yone is just going to be outright locked in, though.
So they could have picked up the Corki to go towards the Yone instead. Yone much more threatening onto the Zyra, because if Zyra stands there trying to put a plant down, Yone comes flying at you. So, big team fight lock-in for Shanks. Also a fantastic laning and side laning pick. Shanks has been the best Yone player in the LPL of summer so far. What else are we looking at? Croco could potentially go towards Sejuani. He could potentially go towards something for Hope as well. And they go towards the Misfortune.
You really believe that? I think Shay's been the best Yone?
Yeah, I do. I think he's been the best mid laner so far in summer so far. I think, wait, who else has there really been? We've had a couple of games from, I mean, Knights looked a bit suspect on it. Scout has been good in team fights.
I think Yukai has had some of the best Yone performances in all of summer.
Yeah, Yukai's been fantastic too, but I will say, I think that Shanks' consistency on the pick.
It's different because AL wins their games in
True.
So, you know.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, Shanks win the games. There you go. If AL keeps winning games, all of their players are just the best. That's exactly how we do it here, folks.
I do like the MF locked in here, though, for AL. Again, you're also getting a lot of Wombo combo potentially now to set up over top of what LGD want to do.
Also, Misfortune does very well into Zyra plants. We saw this in Season 6 in that famous World Semifinals where you can just double tap the plants. I believe you need an extra tap now compared to what it did before. But still, you can do just auto Q and it will basically kill those plants straight out, which is very powerful. And you get the empowered Q off of that. So watch to see if Hope is tricked up on that one. LGD, we did say they were likely going towards that Corki for High Champ. That goes through. Jinjar going towards the Alistar. That's quite important because you either have to go towards the Alistar or the Braum to get up in the Misfortune's face and not die as a support at the same time. The Braum blocks your team. The Alistar helps interrupt a little bit more. Still really hard though now with Croco going towards Brand. Brand can burn down that Alistar as they try to engage, which will make it very hard to play for Jinjar.
Yeah, we're going to get that little bit of combative fire against the plants of Zyra. It's always a hotly contested matchup, it feels like, that we've had here a lot recently. We are in the second phase, though. We got the Draven ban away towards Xayah.
Xayah has been, I mean, the 280 carries I think of for him are, in fact, the Draven and the Senna. Don't think you really want to go Senna with the Alistar. but still, it's still a pick that Shaya can go towards. The Ezreal's already removed. AD carry champion pool going to get really pinched here from Shaya, and that's going to be a problem because Misfortune is already very lane dominant. If you remove something like the Varus now, you're going to really struggle to find yourself a lane which might just... that can sit and farm safely. It's going to be really difficult at this point. I think you ban away the Varus, and what else has Shaya got to survive lane, you know?
It becomes pretty difficult, I feel like, in that regard. I am still loving that AL are kind of saving their support pick here, though.
You can pick it on 4. What else is up for that? I mean, you've got Nautilus Rakan. You want something that can CC people kind of indefinitely.
Maybe? Rel?
Braum ends up being... Yeah, Rel would have been fantastic because it's just the grouped clubbed up engage. They're saving it for last pick support. Alright, I mean, okay, so... I guess there is the due diligence saying, look, there is the very slim outside chance that it's the MF support. Not really great nowadays. Struggles to get towards the items that you want to do. But there's the slim chance either way. You really need some big engage from AL from that support role. I think if you do manage to get that, it allows then suddenly to have the Yone being an engaged flank on one side, and then you have another engaged threat. It means it's really hard to block things out as the Alistar, who wants to just be stood in front of the face of the damaging parts of AL and just saying, okay, you can't get access to the core key, to the other AD carry of the Zeri that's just locked in, and the Zyra as well. Last pick support. Was it really worth leaving it this long? It's probably just going to be Nautilus, right?
I feel like it would be the good option. Anything to get set up for this team that wants wombo combos. I think it's super big. Oh, it's such a hotly contested choice here. I would. Oh,
right.
God. That was the one out of all of them I did not want.
I was sat there thinking, okay, well, the thing with Rakan or Maokai is that the Alistar's not going to build Mikhails against you, which means that you get the full CC duration. It's not like you're going to get people cleansing out of that. The Alistar can stand in front of stuff like the Maokai ult. You can't Alistar ult out of a Bard ult, which can be important. It's not the best combo. What this will probably be is early lane dominance, Bard very good in lane. And of course, we did say that Alistar, and with the Varus gone and stuff like that, the lane is quite hard for Shaya and Jinzhao. Hope and Kyle might just be here to say, look, let's get ourselves big lane dominance, get the magical journey to get some weird flanks going on later into the game to get around the Alistar who'll try and block out on team fights. There is huge wombo combo on the side of anyone's legend. There is great consistent damage from the side of LGD, and they might have themselves a side lane threat in that Nara against the Renekton as well. I do think that AL walk away with some very big comfort pick for them. They have some good lanes to play through, so I am still quite worried though for what could happen here to LGD if they don't survive that early game.
I just see AL's comp as we want to dominate, and we want to dominate now because they have so much strength from ahead with these kinds of picks and the way that they can lead around the map as well. But the ease of execution definitely on the side of LGD in some regards. A lot of the meta picks we've been seeing, the Gnar, I've actually been really wanting to see a little bit more of, especially as an answer potentially into the Renekton. But it's going to be a very interesting one. Again, anyone's legend, probably the most dominant, one of the most dominant teams from our placement stages earlier in the season. LGD, they made it through to the Ascension group. Now they have to prove that they're the real deal. We're getting into game number 1 of our second best of 3 of the night.
Crowd's alive today. It's good to hear. AL, of course, LGD have such a big fan base from years ago. They were always a bigger Dota team. They were a League of Legends. But they have had themselves a decent track record here within the LPL over a great many years as well. I hope this is a start of a new era for LGD. I like this roster. I like how clutch they are around some big playmakers. They do still have... They are a flawed team still. I'm not going to say they are without flaws, but I do enjoy the way they play. Haichao, he's going to get bops at level 1. That's not a great start. Already started the queue.
It's not great. That's for sure. The lane phase is going to be a lot more interesting now, I feel like. Especially against the Yone, who usually is getting pressured out early because of the health trades he has to take. AL Not too bad to get back in the lane. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be pressured a little bit more by LGD.
I like the crowd mics being really loud for the Gyos. The problem is afterwards that you start hearing the casters echo throughout the stadium. You're like, okay, that's really kind of unfortunate at this point. But hey, whatever. Get to hear them as well. Lots of love over to the Chinese casters. It was really fun getting to meet some of them out in Xi'an for the summer finals last year. Met Teddy and I met a couple of the others as well. It was a good time.
Also, some of the just like legendary players. Like the fact that I got to shake 957's hand, I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
The young League of Legends watcher in me would be astounded.
I got a picture with the Shy, as did Hysterics, who's been a big fan of that play. Well, unless you want so many players, so many people are big fans of it. But it meant a lot to Hysterics when he was out there, and he got himself his own picture out there. But still, getting into this early game, we said, okay, LGD have to survive through these lanes. Ala bullying lane early, Meteor very quick up to top side.
He was spotted out, but I don't think it's going to matter if he can get the combo from Meteor. He will try to wait the grasping roots. And now, no, Ala going for the play. Ala trying to get it. He needs one more auto attack, and he gets it in a 2v1. Ala's trying to get away with the flash now, too, but he will not as Meteor shuts him down there. But it's an easy pickup for Ala.
Cross map on the other side. Croco, what can they do?
They're going to try to get the double CC chain here, but they don't end up getting it. Now tanking up is going to be juggled by AL. They're going to go back in for a second helping of the feast. And is it going to be enough? It's beef for dinner, ladies and gentlemen.
The Hope survives as well. Uses the barrier to tag the last tower shot. So, cross map comes through with AL winning on both sides of the map. Ala takes 2 flashes, takes a kill as well as he goes down, and of course it's the enemy jungler which gets the kill, so his lane is now massively in his favor. On bot side, the first dive is not necessarily the cleanest, but they walk away with a 2 for none. Xayah and Jinzhao, they're going to be put behind a huge amount. Massive win for the side of anyone's legend. Ala, the big thing here is that he ends up getting a lot of rage just from attacking plants, which means he gets himself the empowered W, gets himself the E through 2 people to get an empowered Q. His rage management here is absolutely sublime. You know, we were talking about the Renekton pass earlier in the day. It's like, oh, look, not everyone's really worth picking it for. Ala is. And then the bot side dive was pretty fun too.
Yeah, I was wondering how clean this was going to end up being. I think it got really dicey for AL, but they actually juggled really well with the health bars that they had here. The difficulty is you have so many things you have to watch out for LGD against these 3 that it just becomes really difficult to manage. And we're coming back right to it as they have found another gank. There's the CC chain. AL, they're running away with this one early.
Croco gets himself that EQ stun. Look, Tarzan put on a mechanical showcase of Brand the other day, and I thought he did some really good stuff. Feels like now a challenge has been put out to the rest of the LPL junglers saying, okay, all right, you have now seen this Brand with all of these clutch QE stuns where you flash forward for everything. Can you do the same? Kyle roaming across the map, helping him do it.
Oh my god. Dude, Kyle. He's already gotten my MVP for this game, and it's not even 6 minutes in. The guy has been all over the place and delivering his team victories across the map, it feels like.
And you know what? I think we both criticized the Bard pick, saying, look, 100%. Is this really the pick? What about, all this other stuff? He's in another lane again. There's a wave coming through. Birdle doesn't have flash. If he doesn't get Mega before this wave, oh my god, Kyle is slaughtering the map.
The thing about a double-edged sword is if you just keep it pointed at your opponent, it'll be perfectly fine. You don't have to worry about being behind at any moment. Kyle's going to try to bait out to get the CC into the wall, and it's Ala that claims the kill in the end.
Oh my word, Kyle is on a warpath, losing an entire counter wave. Yes, observers, zoom in on that. They are losing an entire, 7, 8 minions to this tower. LGD have been put to the sword, and it's not even 6 minutes in. This is one of the best, cleanest early games I have seen from a team in a long time. As I say that, LGD. Hope will die.
All right, let's go. They're going to go. Oh, that was close. The healing coming through, though, for the big cow. They do get the answer and a little bit of return gold for themselves down in bot side. Shank's looking for a play on mid lane against High Chow, but those 3 grubs do go over to AL.
Everything's going over to them realistically. Hope does die on the bot side, but at the end of the day, he already has, a kill in the the 2 assists. He's going towards that Bloodthirster first item. Big thing about the Misfortune build, just quickly talk about this before it comes through. This is some older tech which we saw the last time they're in. If you have the Bloodthirster overshield, your W passive and the move speed and the stats you get from it stay up until you take the entire shield's worth of damage. So you can use the overshield to just be a battle MF, keep walking forwards. So wait until that item's completed. Not here at this play. AL focusing on the top side of the map. And once again, just not stopping the aggression. Like, Kael's all across the map. He just went from bot lane kills into mid lane and then in towards top lane as well. What can't this guy do?
And he's also just like waiting for the CC here. Oh, Bertle, he just lost Mega as well. Gonna stay away from the turret there, just try and stop that double CC from Kael.
It's not gonna get easier because he has to go away from the lane. The wave's in an absolute crap state in top side. I mean, currently Ala's got that frozen out. Ala's just about to get his dominance back up, so he can even all in Bertle if he walks back up to the wave. Even if he doesn't get the kill, he can maybe just force him into a you know, like a losing HP state. He's down half a level. This is a fantastic early game, and this is exactly why when we talk about anyone's legend and where we're saying, look, folks, if you are on the AL hype train, you're on it early. Get in here at the ground floor. Well, we're maybe at like floor 1, floor 2 at this point. They had a fantastic group stage, and some people who were predicting them to be pretty good when Ala came through and Taba came through, we're pretty happy right now. Get on the hype train right now. This team is looking really good.
They are indeed. And it's been about picking up the right pieces, it feels like. Obviously, a little bit of a track record of trying to fit in the right pieces. I think Krako and Kael have been a really, really awesome addition over the length of time they've been here with AL. But Ala, a big shining new piece, feels like, for this team. And honestly, in this one, shining pretty bright.
I think particularly with the early game, this is a really good microcosm of what AL should be doing as a roster, which is being a triple lane threat. They can do anything everywhere. You know, they start on bot side, they immediately go towards mid lane, everything everywhere, and indeed all at once. Ala looking for a fight. He's winning out the trade versus the Mega Gnar. You're winning against the Mega Gnar. That's how far ahead he is already.
Be careful about the trades on the back though. Berta will have the speed up there. Shanks and Hai Chao been a little bit quiet in mid lane. Shanks already having the 1 kill there, though, but wanting to maybe get a little bit tussling going in their own right. They're getting bored, not having anybody come visit them. Now, Krako did end up taking that dragon over for AL, so they have had full objective control.
Yeah, Meteor goes towards top side. Does end up setting up for the next round of grubs, and also just buys Bertle a bit of breathing room because, yeah, Ala is just off of that rage mark. He would have got the empowered W otherwise on that point. Yeah, Meteor just buying a little bit of space to make sure that Ala can't just flash forward for a W and just murder the mini Gnar is quite important for them. Bertle, I don't think this lane is his fault. I think that the early kills going over to Ala with how well he played through his rage was really important. But, you know, Bertle as a player, I think it's worth talking about how he's had to reinvent himself a little bit on this team for LGD. He was the Lethality Aatrox flank carry player in spring. Can't really do that in summer. He had a couple of bad series at the start of group stage. I think he is better at playing frontline now, but now he's so far behind in the matchup. We need to see how far that growth has realistically come.
Gonna be a barometer. Kind of keep an eye on. Oh my god.
Yeah, he doesn't really get to play the game, does he?
Rinse and repeat. Over onto Bertle. He's the tempered fate to make it even worse here. Kael can't get the CC chain into the wall, but Ala is there to try to make sure he can. Bertle still alive. Finally dies to Krako. The rest of LGD are surrounding, though. They're going to TP and Stranglethorn use. Kael getting low. Kael going down. Shanks maybe the one to make the difference, but Ala tries to slice and dice his way over there. And Shanks might bow for it. Okay, he's going to go for the Fate Seal. He really wants Hai Chao. I told you. These mid laners really want some kills. Ala and the rest of AL overextending a little bit in top side do get traded back.
By the way, while all this happened, Hope just solo killed Shire in bot side.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. By the way, AL, I felt like that should have really been an LGD favored fight with a good teleport response, but it doesn't quite work out. Now 5 grubs already on top side. Shank's going in.
Grub-again! Oh no!
Batten down the hatches, the grubs are coming. It's like that first episode of SpongeBob. I smelled something. That smelly smell, that smells smelly. It's grubs. They're everywhere. You got to make sure you're safe from them.
Wait, are we saying canonically they smell?
I think given they are big void
I
grubs.
thought they smelled
maybe.
like lavender.
Oh wait, so this is the solo kill by the
Oh.
way. Just the 2-level advantage. Xiao walks back up. Hope resets his W, his love tap passive, gets himself a Q.
Oh my god, he's just getting dunked.
Yeah, did he just Q? Does he just Q auto? Yeah, he just hits him with the Q. All right, uses the barrier. Hope.
Oh, okay.
You were calling out how good Hope has been for this team before. Great individual play to utilize the early power of the MF. While that's happening, his support, he knows his AD carry is fine. The fact that you're winning lane so hard allows Kyle to just completely roam across the map and just be the dream bard and just go across the map. Yeah, they do end up getting caught on the top side. Jinzhao has a decent CC chain into the Strangleforms, but the fact they only get one from that isn't enough, and the plays just keep coming.
Oh, they have the Tempered Fate. Bullet time over top of it. Hope's going to claim a solo kill over Xiaoya yet again. Jinzhao getting out with the Unbreakable there. But I do want to give a little bit of praise over to Hope. Not only do you maybe know him from his time on JDG, he also spent a little bit of time on WE, where he got to link up with Shanks. And those two were potent as all hell. WE had one of the most incredible starts to their split. Unfortunately, things didn't go too well. But Hope was a mainstay. And I know when he was on JDG, he was talking about working on his shot calling, his leadership potentials. But honestly, he's been working on his carry potentials here.
How much gold has he got? Jesus! All of the plates early and first turret bot side with the Grubbageddon. Shanks gonna
40
jump
CS
he's gonna
up, you know.
He sees this happening. He just doesn't care, by the way. He sees Jinzhao. He's like, whatever. Hex flashing cow. We can deal with that as it comes to it. I mean, the more I think about it for AL, this is... Oh, no! Guys! Stop!
Gank
Stop
party!
murdering him!
Party for one! Oh, no. They're going to come back.
Yeah, but he's still just having to go away from the turret. They have Demolish on tower. They have 6 grubs. Like... It's not even like, I mean, him surviving is a luxury here. He managed to get himself back towards turret. It is so hard for LGD to play the game ever since, you know, Kyle's been able to be unlocked from this bot lane. This was one of the problems of getting all of those more lane-safe AD carries like the Varus being taken away. What do you do? What do you do when you, against this kind of lane dominance with the roaming support used to such potency?
You know what I just realized when the first turret percentage thing came up? EDG are still at 0%, 1%.
Well, we really had to go back to that, huh?
Yeah, we really did, because it's always been really interesting. Like, Top Esports had like 100% first turret win percentage for like all of last split until like the finals or whatever, which is just actually insane to me. But I think it begs a little bit of control of the map, and I think in this one in particular, AL have wrestled a lot of control. I mean, they're 6,000 gold up 14.5 minutes in. They've gotten Grubbageddon, they've gotten the Dragon, they've gotten the Rift Herald. They've taken literally everything you can on the map.
Yeah, they've lost a couple of kills here and there, but it has been such slim pickings for the side of LGD. I mean, AL really got themselves a hell of a unit they put together. Shanks has flash and ult. You still have to be careful of this guy on the bot side. Every time people are on the same screen, I'm just thinking, okay, right, when's the next big ultimate coming through? But, you know, we were talking about how Hope... maybe someone that's been undervalued in the eyes of the community for a while. He's an LPL champion. This guy's been fought over by LPL teams to be their carry, and he has been so good even on struggling teams. I think Ala's had the same thing. I think Shanks has had the same thing. And now with Croco being a player who's never really been held in that high regard, Kyle maybe a little bit more so. I think AL, I don't think it's wrong to call them a band of the unsung heroes. I think this team, putting all of these pieces together, and then with Tabe, who is very much someone who can utilize the pieces you give him, this team has become a team which I just continue to keep watching. I want to see more of this team. They're such a fun team to see play, and in early games like this, you can see exactly what all of these pieces can do together, and maybe we finally get the split where these players can be more than just unsung heroes and just be a bloody good team.
Band of misfit toys, if you will. And they will continue dominating those objectives that we talked about so often already. As they take another dragon, it is an Infernal Soul on the map, so oh my god, you think it gets worse for LGD? Well, that Infernal Soul makes it that much worse. They're going to move in, though. Jinzhao finds the engage over on a Croco. He's going to flash away. Pyroclasm did just get used there as Kyle's trying to follow up there. Nice little passive damage going over from Croco. Some tankiness starting to come online, though, for LGD.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's also... how many cooldowns do you need to blow for that? Jinjo doesn't have the ult
Hey, I'm
now.
the hopium merchant, all right?
Yeah, there's going to need to be a lot of that. You're going to be in business for a while. Herald put down towards mid lane. 6 grubs absolutely dead. Can they get a second charge off? Big ult coming through.
Oh, Kyle getting low, though. Yeah, Haichao wanted to chase him to get the kills there. Okay, Rifto got denied there. Haichao finds Shanks over here. They've been going at each other's throat the whole time. Gets denied in that blast cone, but still makes it to safety.
Shanks, not really been at Mikhail, buddy. Okay.
Yeah, he knew
all
he was
right.
coming around the corner.
Finally punishing Kyle there. He goes over some enemy wards. A little bit too bold.
Dang, that was a good run, guys. Like, I made it. This 17 minutes in, just like, running around like crazy.
Just peace out. Just vanishes into the distance, and at least LGD gets something through there. Crocker going towards top side. Bertle has flash, but Mini's coming up, and that's going to be a very, very squishy Mini knock.
I'm honestly surprised also that Bertle was this far out, though, as Bertle just gets taken down by Ala again.
Croco doesn't have the flash, doesn't need it. Bertle doesn't flash away from the Q, ends up dying for it. Oh, Bertle. It is kind of poetic that Bertle, thrown under the bus by his old support from that sandbox team over in LCK, Kyle and Bertle. They were, you know what, they looked pretty okay together at points in that kind of team. But Kyle has just sat there and said, ah, yes. You learned what it is like to play with me. Now you shall learn what it is like to play against me. As he's completely dumpstered on his lane time after time.
Yeah, things are looking a little bit bleak here for LGD on the map, especially because they are a team that has some pretty consistent team fighting. We talked about that from the draft as well, but they aren't ever really going to be in a position to get that off in a lot of these regards. As AL are actually just moving into the red side jungle of LGD now. That's a cleanse. That's a pyroclasm.
They just get everything for free. And you know, you look at this. Oh, Kyle, he has to flash away. He might be just in target again.
No, he's out. Croco. He's got some AoE damage here in the choke. And now Shanks comes over to get his own. He wants a piece of the gold. As they chase down Jin Zhao, now he's down 2.
What is Hope doing?
Like, dude, that was bold. He wanted the statement kill over there, though. They get him.
Yeah, I mean, Hope just says, all right, this AD carry, I deem their existence an insult to me. Bertle next on the list.
No way. Is this going to be the fastest game of the split if they just continue barreling down mid lane? Feels like health bar from Kyle might make that a little bit more difficult.
I mean, this is just such domination from AL. I love the early game plan. They picked good lanes, and, you know, as we said, wasn't really a big fan of the Bard pick in regards to the big combo. The fact that they've used it to do so much early game damage is insane, though. I think Croco also really, really putting out good damage. The fact that Kyle is the first person into the play also really helps, because now LGD are so far behind the game, they have to use a lot to try and focus on Kyle. They use the combo from Alistar. It means it's not up to do this. They walk up. And then when Meteor has to walk up and he's getting punished by a Yone over the wall because they've overchased for a Bard, that's a huge issue. Hey, I'll maybe have a bit too much fun with this next bit because Bertle at least gets something back. Just with the end of the Mega Knot, manages to get himself a kill back onto Hope. It's something, but that's all they can hope for. The early game and the lanes have been blown out so much in proportion. What else can they do? They're down 9,000 gold at 20 minutes. God damn.
That was one combo from Croco that just brought the Cowman, who is the tankiest person, it feels like, on the team, down to less than half health.
Yeah, so that tankiness we said was coming in before. It is, it's not looking like it's enough. Bertle has Mega. Shanks has ults. Doesn't want to go too far. There goes the Bard ults.
Oh, bullet time. Here it comes. In the choke point, they're waiting to use it. Stranglethorn goes down. Hope still popping shots into Jin Zhao, and there's that bullet time right onto Xiaoya, and he'll just go down to Allah's swipe.
This is just not a contest. AL, look, I do think that LGD, a lot of these picks, a lot of these players can do a lot of work. You can't do that when you are this far behind. Meteor gets a good disengage onto Ala, but has to blow the flash to get away.
I think Ala might be in some trouble here. He's going to slice and dice. Haichao's right behind him. Oh, Kyle's trying to save him with the magical journey, but can't get it.
get something back. But look, AL, they are afforded these mistakes at this point. Meteor, he has to flash out of the play. There's no way that he's going to get towards a Baron steal at that point. That's what Allah's doing, right? He's walking up to try and threaten the jungler to see if he can kill them. So there is no chance of a miracle Baron steal, which is the one way which LGD get back into the game. And now with the Baron buff, with huge items, an Infinity Edge on the Misfortune, and 2 items on Shanks' Yone as well, this game, it isn't getting easier anytime soon. Birdol, he's in topside. He might have to teleport down towards this dragon, though, to stop that going over. It looks like it will just be the top lane turret being focused on by LGD. Yeah, that will go down, and that will at least be an objective bounty, but it is, again, slim pickings for LGD.
Let's go, LGD. You got something on the map. It's not just kills.
Oh, man. They get something, but gosh. All it comes back to is, again, just how well AL played out this early game. I like how Shanks times this, by the way. You can see that timer on the bottom of his health bar there. He is CC'd fully throughout this combo. He would have died if he had timed that a little bit earlier, because he wouldn't have had the auto pullback from the Fate, from the Soul Unbound. Gets himself with a combo to make sure that the Mega Gnar can't come through to stop things on the other side. Meteor flashed away from Ala. Would have died very, very quickly if he'd flashed a little later. Does turn around for at least one more kill. But Meteor, because he has to flash away, is in absolutely no position to contest for the Baron.
Oh, I'm going to play him.
Is it a play?
Hello?
Or is it just putting up buffs on the silver platter?
I'm just wondering, because he wasn't CC'd there. He was just kind of standing there. Anyways, it happens. And Shanks, though, going in for the over top engage, trying to go under tower there. Kyle getting a lockdown, and bullet time over top of it gets Hope yet another kill, hand delivered.
You can escape one of the engaged tools, but can you escape all of them? Steps out of the Yone ult, can't escape Hope. Hope on the Misfortune has been so good. Has the rapid fire cannon now as well. If he gets a Q onto someone with a rapid fire cannon, that is going to do unspeakable amounts of damage. While all this is happening, Ala goes back. Ala has a propane Hydra, by the way. He's cooking on hydrocarbons now. He's got himself the lethality version. He's going for full damage. You like those propane-based accessories, whatever they are?
I love it because you're like so close to the reference, but you're just like you're right a little bit there. It's like that parallel universe we were talking about.
Yeah, it's we have international cable here all the same. But yeah, he just says, right, I'm killing people. How about I kill them faster? Who gives a damn about Sterex? I want the full Hydra.
It's actually kind of insane. And as expected, the resets are going to come through. Potentially for Haichao to try to get something. He's almost on 3 items. I think Corki and Xiaoya will be very happy to be on 3 items, but I don't think it's gonna matter, unfortunately.
That was my thoughts as well. Ala, he doesn't have flash, which no, don't walk into him. No. He just popped his Dominus. Oh, I thought he thought that maybe he was trying to see whether Birdol would go into the Tri-Burst itself. Ala, he knows he doesn't have flash. He still can't go that far. He is, at the end of the day, still a Renekton. If you don't have flash and you use your E going forwards, you need to kill everyone before everyone goes out. So he has wasted the Dominus. LGD, they don't see him waste the Dominus, at least. So he will at least not have the enemy team running at him, knowing he doesn't have the extra HP and Rage.
Dude, name LCK supports and Bard in a more iconic duo.
Yeah.
Because I think it's something a conversation kind of continuously bring up for AL is Krako and Kyle. I mean, they've cooked since they came over to AL. And I think last split we were seeing a lot of very interesting drafts from AL. And a lot of that was centered around the flexibility they were bringing to the roster. So it's really cool to see them kind of solidify their playstyle a little bit, still use some of that flexibility, but also be able to execute on it super strongly.
Yeah, no, Kroko and Kyle were using the Rel flex pick back then. Of course, Rel's no longer a flex, only in support, kind of killed off in the jungle now, which I find it a little sad because it was quite fun.
Rumble support?
Yeah, there was the Rumble as well. Kroko is also one of the few people that plays Rumble jungle right now. I mean,
just really cool to see.
FGX were the main Rumble support players, but yeah, I mean, AL, they did everything. They're still flexible. They showed, given the fact that Fearless Draft was in group stage and Rumble was like huge first pick priority, the fact that AL took that first pick and said, we're not going to put it in its primary role, we're going to flex it to like jungle, that shows you the mentality of this team, and that's why I'm excited about them. And or rather, another reason I'm excited about them. They are not just good laning teams with good teleports. They also have the flexibility. They are the very strong package right now. They go and retreat away from this defensive teleport. Jin Zhao chunked out again. Shanks is pushing bot lane. He has almost 3 items down. Hai Chao might just die. That's the hydrocarbons cooking.
It definitely is, and they're actually trying to push down that top side into the inhib turret. They're gonna collapse back over onto the dragon. This will be Infernal Soul for AL, so easy does it. And honestly, another nail to the crucifix of LGD in this game number 1.
They have themselves Infernal Soul coming up too. So by the way, if you thought that the damage coming in from any of these members wasn't enough, they're going to have more. He has his flash up. In fact, every flash is available from AL. This is terrifying for LGD. You don't have flash on your Corki, flash on everyone on AL, and any single member can assassinate your carries. This is an impossible team fight. I mean, Al's not even here. He's just staying topside right now. Just saying, okay, you can go towards the dragon if you want. Goodbye tower.
He's already almost taken it. Oh my goodness. Jin Zhao, you're meant to be the tank, but you're just like paper. And AL have gone to a paper mache studio. I don't know if Shalia's into trouble here. Krako's gonna find it. Getting to burn down onto Meteor as well. And the entire time, All is just literally rampaging the base right now. Hai Chao's finally here to answer. He's gonna get engaged on. Slice and dice to Ala, getting to safety.
I love how we had the kaiju battle at the Nexus between Meganar and Renekton, and sadly, that's even just a side plot for this movie. It feels like anyone's legend. Just like we said, they are more than just a cool logo now. They are genuinely a contender in the LPL. Here goes Jin Zhao, but feels like it's too little, too late. He's gonna burn down.
Oh my god, every time you think his health bar can stick it, but it just can't. At 28 minutes, AL, they'll come out swinging in this series. 1-0 lead in this best of 3. Look at that smile on Hope's face. You'd love to see it.
I'd be smiling too, buddy, if I was on that team. Anyone's legend. Again, we cannot stress this enough. If you are less familiar with the LPL, if you are used to our top teams being JDG, BLG, Top Esports, maybe you think about some of the other teams about the place too, NIP, FPX, you need to put Anyone's Legend on your radar. This team looks incredibly good right now. So folks, I'm Nomera. I'm joined by Mazel today. There is no official English broadcast for the LPL on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, so we do it instead. So we hope you're enjoying the show here. As well, give us a follow on social media or on whatever streams you particularly choose to as well, because it helps us keep doing what we're doing. We hope you're enjoying the show, and I really enjoyed watching that early game from Anyone's Legend. I love that. We don't see that much Bard in general in the LPL. Like, the fact that it comes out from Kyle here and just slaps LGD for a new one, that's really fun to see.
I know, right? That's just, gosh, I expected this second series to be very one-sided. I did not expect it to be that one-sided. I mean, they literally had like a 6K gold lead at, I don't even remember, was it 12 minutes in?
Yeah, something like that. It was like 9K at 20. It was too much, realistically. Man. And the fact is, this is standard draft, so you could still have the MF Yone kind of lane components being locked in again. You can do so much of this again, which is a bit of an issue, really. Yeah, and, you know, I don't know. I mean, AL, we said, look, going into the Ascension group, we don't realistically know where they stand amongst top teams. We've seen them beat NIP. We've seen them lose to Weibo, but then beat them in the second round. So it's like, they looked great, and if you just look at the eye test, look fantastic. How does that stand up when they're put under more pressure, though, later into the game? Against a team like LGD, they're not necessarily a team we think is going to be the top of this kind of group. They have some good key players, but they need to make it through to those points where they can actually have those clutch late-game performances. They made it nowhere near. The gold lead was, I mean, just look, 16,000 gold advantage at the Nexus falling is insane. But, I mean, this was a crime right from the start of the game.
Yeah, and this is also the first time we're seeing LGD here in Group Ascend, and I think it was a conversation of like, what will they look like coming out of that placement stage? Because a lot of our teams had question marks next to them because of that, and the way that the lopsided groups kind of played out. But I think the other kind of underlying factor through all this is that the series means so much because they are single round robins. And we don't have all the teams in the LPL in each group. You only have the 9 in this group for Group Ascent.
Yeah, you know, it is. It does mean that each of these matchups means a lot more. You don't get to take that learning a second time round. Hope, yeah, this guy's incredible, man. The fact that he was doing that on his own makes things really important, because the fact that Hope can do so much in the 1v1 with the AD carries means that Kyle can do whatever the hell he wants on the map. And a bard that gets to freely roam after he's hit level 6, well, I mean, he did at level 2 and 3, let's be honest, but the fact that he could roam so early and so consistently won this game for AL. So, this brings up another point about AL, where they are a team which have carries in every single lane. They have very good players across the map. The fact that it wasn't needing to be a Shanks solo carry from the mid lane, which it has been a point, so that it wasn't needing to be Ala just doing, you know, his own solo carrying stuff from the top side, which, in fairness, it kind of was that too in some cases. The fact that every single lane can do this kind of carry early game domination performance if they are asked to is really, really important. And then the fact that Croco and Kyle leverage off of those lanes so powerfully, it gives me a lot to be excited for. I'm really excited to see what this team can do. I need to see this team versus JDG, versus BLG, versus even top esports as good as they seem. I need to see how far this goes, because I'm really excited to see this team.
Well, they're getting there. Hold on to your horses, Nightmare, because yeah, we got a bunch of games ready to go for AL. A lot of tests of spirit, it feels like, for this team. Also, really just kind of, for me, barometer of like closing out big leads. I think a lot of our teams can have issues with that. There was not much issue here. AL really kind of picking apart the map easily.
Had a couple of sloppy deaths here and there, but even then, they were afforded that. And it just felt like they vibed their way through the late game, and they were absolutely free to do so. I think one of the big things about that is that I think we saw Kyle caught out a couple of times, but when he was being caught out, you had to blow like 2 ultimates to kill him and a full like Alistair combo. That's still completely worth it. So, yeah, I mean, the fact that you can just throw a death in, and again, Kyle, putting himself in harm's way, knowing that he can buy space for his AD carry to do stuff like this, it's still the right thing to do. And yeah, Kyle died a couple of times for it. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, though. I think it's the correct way to play out this game. And LGD, they just beat BLG. This is a team who've had themselves some big results recently. Still can't quite get themselves anywhere close to this early game. So, folks, we're going to take ourselves a quick break. So we're going to go, you know, refill on drinks. Stay hydrated, folks. Stay hydrated and stay alert and stay healthy.
It's important.
I'm going to imagine next game is probably our last game, so buckle up. LGD, they got to pull out something really special and walk it back from that, because that was not close. I got to go get myself some more caffeine. I'm going to go put on an ad break real quick, and we will get back to
Have fun with the ads, suckers.
If you don't want, I mean, not that I'm going to be here, but I'm going to go, yeah, but I mean, if you do have a free Twitch Prime or you want to follow us on socials or anything like that, it always means a lot to us. We're not getting paid by LPL to do this. This is just our own shit. So, yeah, drop a follow us, and we hope, above all else, we hope you're enjoying the show. Who gets the MVP? We'll stay for that. Who gets MVP? I mean, it's probably Kyle, right? Yeah, of course. Okay, it's Kyle. No surprise there, and I'm going to go get myself a drink. Okay.
局吗？
开就开。
年轻真好，不像我满身岁月的痕迹。我可跑了30万公里了啊！怎么保养的？用美肤素发，就是它，全程保护着我。美肤素发，快速应对，保护常在。
Okay. I'm back. How's everyone doing? Ugh. Put my feet up for a second. Any abacus engineers in chat? I don't know what that is. Okay, one more game. I think I'm going to have lunch and then a nap after this. So let's pray for a quick last game. Wait, is this TFT stuff? Oh, they call it Golden Spatula, don't they? It's not called TFT. They've named it differently. What the hell is this? What is that? What? The frickin' Lulu cupcakes. It's adorable. That is adorable. Yeah, it's the Golden Spatula is what it is. Okay. One more game. Anyone had any favorite moments from today's games? Five-year bash. Right, okay, cool. Okay, back into the studio. I liked the moment when AL slapped LGD around the map. It was really cool. Any other favorite moments? That was really cool though. That was one of the best Bard early games I have seen in a while. In fact, I might have to clip together like that early game because Kyle just did something unspeakable there. Oh. Right, so what do LGD do? You need to draft for a stronger bot lane, I think. Which this is a problem. This is a big problem. Because you can't allow Hope and Kyle to get that ahead of the game. Because if you are taking Jinzhao out of the equation, because Hope and Kyle have smashed lane so hard, Kyle gets to roam for free, the whole map falls apart with it. Like, most of that game was Croco and Kyle began to walk forwards off of winning lanes very, very easily. You need to have a stronger bot lane. I just wonder whether they should have prioritized a stronger bot lane pairing. Because Zeri Alistair is not great lane dominance, and it's okay. Maybe they should have gone towards the Braum, but then you can't play the Braum that easily without the Ashe. Because there wasn't that great engage elsewhere. It sucks. It sucks. It's a very difficult equation to try and balance that one. Oh, God. I'm starting to get a bit brain fried now. Dude, what an insane early game, though. And I also think that a lot of the first round bans were kind of trying to target this. Well, a lot of the first picks were like kind of umming and ahhing about what was happening with the mid lane matchup as well. Oh, it's gonna be rough if you're kind of going in towards first kind of pick some first bans and you think, okay, do I have to ban the Tristana and the Yone? Do I have to just leave mid laners up to secure something else on the bot side of the map? It's rough, because if suddenly... I wonder whether they have to go towards something like the LeBlanc again. Just go towards the LeBlanc because it can be a bit stronger, it can be a bit more of a lane bully. Well, not that Corki isn't, but I wonder if you just try and flip things around, go towards the LeBlanc, see if you can snowball through mid lane a bit more. It's hard stuff, it's hard stuff. Someone has to eat a load of bans, and that's a problem. Every single lane from AL can punish you if you're in a bad spot. Folks, we will get ourselves into the second draft between LGD, Lagandier, and Anyone's Legend. First game was one of the most destructive early games I have seen in a very long time. Anyone's Legend, they won through bot lane, they won through top lane, they won through everything. Kyle on the Bard ran rampant. LGD sticking to the similar kind of bans they had from the first draft. And Anyone's Legend, they're removing one of the things which I was wondering whether LGD would go towards, which is that LeBlanc for the lane dominance. Also removing that Leona too. It wouldn't surprise me to see Shanks, hey buddy, how's it going? Just saying that, I was wondering whether Haichao would get a LeBlanc game. No, that's banned.
No,
so what the heck do you do right now? I mean, first pick of a mid laner could work, but I think Shanks is happy on so many different sides of the mid lane matchups. They can go elsewhere, and they go for the misfortune because LGD have not shown they can beat it in lane yet.
Yeah, and I think it just provides you with so much strength early on in the draft because you have a kind of direction you can go with. Maybe some answers into it. We'll see what LGD's answers are going to be that time around. Because they definitely need to bounce back. I would like this. This is typically something you want to see as well with the MF, but it's going to be grabbed away.
So you take away part of that combo. And this is the thing. Last game, Shanks showed us that he's completely happy to just play that Yone, use it as kind of like the engaged threat on the side as well. He's also very, very fine at trying to use, well, just winning the other side of the map. It wouldn't surprise me to see him going back towards either something like the Jace or more likely the Corki, and he'll be fine with that matchup. I do like the Draven, though. I did say during the break, okay, you need to have a stronger 2v2 bot side from the side of LGD, otherwise this game could just effectively explode again, so the Draven can potentially help you fight level 1, level 2 a lot more easily.
And also giving a little bit of comfort to Xiaoya. It is one of his most played champions, but it's also a game one of this series rather that was a bit rough down there. Hope was definitely giving him a bit of a mental run for his money there. The brand lock-in is going to keep up that kind of aggressive tone for AL.
So, it's going to be Croco going back towards that. So that's 3 of the 5 pieces they had from that last game, which absolutely exploded game number 1, LGD. They went towards the Zyra the first time. Could potentially go towards that again. It is, you know, a low-range Brand and Renekton. If you can keep them at arm's length, Zyra is very, very good at playing from outside of Brand's and Renekton's range. Question is whether you can stop that early enough into the game. So now LGD, are they going to ban away that Bard? Are they going to say, all right, this MF allowed that Bard to roam across the map too easily? And also, what's their thought? Do they go towards something like the Nautilus? They're banning away mid lane champions. I get it. I think it's actually more of a problem about the early roaming champions from KL.
I would agree, actually. I mean, the Bard in particular.
Yep.
They had a lot of issues dealing with that. And it was just because he was able to get around the map so consistently. And there was no really punishing to it. Like, a couple times he overextended towards the end. Yes, those were punished, but he had already gotten the big leads he needed to. Now, it will be the Nautilus focus by AL in the second phase.
So, that's going to be that one of those big lane pairings from the Draven away. You can go Draven Renata. That's an okay pairing as well. When you have the Yone, you don't have to go as heavy on the engager in your support role because it kind of gives you some of that other stuff. So, oh, you're right. So LGD just say, okay, Shanks, You look great on your handful of champions. What else have you got? Now, Shanks might have to be left with something like, well, what other mid lane AD champions have we got? You could switch the Renekton mid lane if you want, but you could also go towards something like that Lucian. We have seen some Zeri mid lane out of UCal as well at the same time. They are less good in lane, especially against the Yone, though, than this top string. So that could be quite valuable from LGD to give themselves a mid lane pushing off point, but I'm still quite worried about what could happen in the bot side.
Actually kind of like the Gnar ban just in case. I think Bertle was on the cusp of having some good moments. But the Poppy is the lock-in for LGD. So could go top, could go support, I guess. But AL definitely wants some tools to have more consistent engages to go with this bullet time.
So, LAL don't really have the best engage right now, but okay, this is just lane domination again. So I reckon, so much like game one, we said, okay, the Bard not fantastic in terms of the combo compared to the other options they were hovering. The Braum is the same, but now with Misfortune Braum, the amount, yeah, sure, lock in something crazy. The Braum is fantastic at roaming around the map and making early plays. So LGD are not outside of the early game hellscape just yet. The Braum, if they get unlocked from the lane, could do a great amount of damage. It will be that Lucian mid. We have seen that a bit. I am assuming that Bertle is going to pick up the Poppy. It is a comfort pick for him, and it's okay into the Renekton. That will be the case, and it is the Renata locked down on bot side. The Renata, much better in laning phase against the Braum than something like a Nautilus or a Leona or a Lorel itself, because you're slightly more ranged. You don't have to play that melee range diving style into that Braum, but still, I do think AL have strong lanes, not as strong lanes as they did in game one, but it's still a similar scenario where LGD need to make sure that Kyle does not just get out onto the map and run them through, because it was not pretty in game one.
Yeah, it was definitely not. A very one-sided affair. He was able to get on the map very consistently. Maybe a little bit less so this time around, I feel like, on the Renata. Still some possibilities, but that 2v2 going to be locked in a little bit more so, I feel like. And I think that's where LGD can have a bit of a come up in this one. Re-rinse the comp from game number one and try something a little bit similar, but with some variations there, and especially with Xiaoyan a little bit of comfort too.
Yeah, Xiaoya, the two champions which are really strong for him are the Draven and the Senna. Hasn't had a chance to play that Senna in this series. It's going to be that Draven instead. If you can have a strong early lane performance on that Draven, maybe it shuts down KL on the Braum. The early game entrance from Braum is going to be so important. It is not going to be an easy team fight for him compared to even the Bard of that last game.
Yeah.
Need to see whether KL can do what he did in game one, because that was one of the most impressive support performances we have seen in the LPL in quite some time.
LGD's first series here in the Ascension group. And Anyone's Legend giving them a warm welcome. We'll be getting into game two here now. It all relies on what happens in this jungle matchup, and Anyone's Legend have looked so ridiculously dominant so far, and like you said, they might be pegging themselves for Worlds.
Bit of a love tap in mid lane from that level 1 of that Braum. We did say Braum, level 1 champion. Very, very strong. Can that be enough to do something a little bit special around him? They're walking in. Okay, so this is what it is. We saw this in Fun Plus Phoenix versus JDG. Now, what happened there is that you disrupt the early Zyra seed spawns if you can, and try and stop her from getting onto that first camp. But they've left a little early. What we actually saw in the FPX game is one invade to kill to deny some of the seeds, and then went on to the other side of the map to stop her when she was away from her seeds again. You just kind of just stomp on the Zyra early, because she does need to stand in a single location, so her passive spawns those plants. Already, they managed to force Meteor a little bit back. It's not that much, but it's something. It will slow down as Meteor's clear just a little. So, bot lane laning phase. Talks about this being very important for both of these teams. Kyle on the Braum, very strong early lane pressure. It's not necessarily the easiest lane to team fight. Well, the easiest support champion to team fight with, as opposed to earlier in the game. Will say, though, just having that Brawl Maul into the MF ult can be important in its own right. It's not quite the same heavy lockdown, but even just being that slight knock-up in the slow field afterwards can be enough of its own right. The early lane, though, should be getting won by the Draven Renata. Flash forced out early enough. Xiaoye on this Draven, very much getting helped by Jin Zhao on that Renata, helping them control those early few levels in the way that we wanted them to. So speaking of early lanes, Lucian was picked up in this mid lane. We did say, okay, so second round bans went towards the Corki and the Jace. Your top tier of AD champions are Corki, Tristana. Yone's just behind them. Less good into the Tristana, is okay into the Corki. And then you have Jace, which is kind of in amongst the mix as well. But even then, Jace is kind of just below that Yone. Then you get through to other AD champions like, I don't know, a random Renekton mid or something like this Lucian that we've seen a little bit more. The Zeri we've seen from UCal. The fact that Shanks is getting the early lane control definitely helps. But AL haven't been able to get out of lanes and get this support roaming in the same way. It's definitely not the same kind of Bard explosion that we saw in that first game. Meteor, quick clear, even though he was disrupted. And we immediately down towards this bot side, trying to look towards a dive somehow. Won't be able to do so. Very hard to dive out of Braum, especially with the heal barrier on these two as well. Short dash from Shanks, gets himself the double tap very quickly in. Hired Xiao. He took this Yone away from Shanks in that game one. We did say that Shanks maybe best Yone in the entirety of the LPL so far. Yokai also on the list, and a couple of others. It's definitely a contested field, but Shanks, across the average, I do think has been the best mid laner in the LPL. He's not part of this play, though. In top side, bot lane didn't work out for Meteor. Stun under turret. It's not going to be a kill, but it will be a chunk away. So Birdle loses half of his HP. It's not going to be an overdive, though. Very dangerous to dive a Poppy, especially with Flash and that W. If you end up getting outplayed, things can get really, really nasty with the amount of CC and the tankiness coming through from that Poppy. You can see right there, pretty okay into that Renekton matchup. Ala kind of earned his Renekton stripes for this patch, at least, in that last game. It's, yeah, a champion which a lot of LPL teams have tried to go towards. Hasn't looked great for everyone. Ala really snowballed through in that last game, though, and justified the pick. So with that gank in top side, Mala has full control over there. Mid lane has full control too. Bot lane is the missing piece of the equation. Shaya stacking up nicely, catching all of his axes. When you get wave control as Draven, just gets a lot more powerful. You keep catching those axes, keep getting those stacks as well. If you get a kill onto him, doesn't have to mean anything though. Kyle has no, he doesn't have flash, rather. Use that at the level 1. Does not have flash to do anything. And if you're wondering, the reason why we're not hearing Rizal right now is internet just went down. So hopefully he will be fine to join us yet again just after this point. But for the time being, you'll just be hearing the voice of me. Hi, I'm here for you. I'm here for all your LPL needs. Zala got that chunk. Helped out by Croco on this top side of the map. Does help him control out this lane, as you were saying. It means that Birdle, even though he's on a comfort pick of that pop, he can't necessarily leverage through this lane in the way that he would have liked to at the same time. Meteor doesn't have his entire jungle being evaded this time. He'll consider that a luxury and get himself that dragon on the bot side of the map. Croco, with his mid lane and top lane winning, will be very happy to clear through his jungle yet again, go towards those top side grubs. I don't really think LGD can be walking towards that. Kyle has got himself out of the bot lane now. He was just... So this is... if you look at the minimap, very interesting thing just happened where Kyle left base, went through mid lane. You don't have to do anything with that. You can go back towards bot lane if you want, but it just gives you options to go somewhere else. He puts down a ward. His spot on the way back down there, but just leaving himself available for an extra play across the map can be very, very important. This is one of the big kind of skill sets you can have as a support as you walk through the lane and walk through the game as well. Kyle goes back towards bot lane just in time for this bot side play to happen. Meteor was just spotted over the wall, and a quick stand behind me will get Kyle out safely. The route there could have been potentially dangerous, going into a handshake, and all the rest could have been the start of something. LGD already in a much better position than they were in the previous game. They don't quite have vision on Meteor again, though. They do right there with that just last minion, though. Meteor not quite able to hug that fog of war in the way he would have liked to. Still, angling for a dive. They have heal. They have barrier. Not easy. Here comes the first bit of CC. They drag the shield away from Hope, but it's not quite there enough. Jin Zhao takes a lot of turret shots, and that's extra damage coming through. LGD try and go for the bot side dive. They try and bring the Braum away from the Misfortune. They can't quite get that to happen. They get themselves a flash and a barrier out of Hope, but that is it. And that will be, sadly, the end of their bot side intentions. They lose a flash on Meteor. They lose the ignite on Jinzhao. Don't quite get what they wanted to. While all this is happening, top lane going very well for AL. Mid lane, Haichao gets a visit from that top lane to zone him off of that tower. So Shanks will be able to get himself a large gold lead. Lucian is a champion that needs to stay ahead of his lane opponent, much like the Tristana. I feel like it's even more the case for Lucian, though. He's a bit of a stat check champion. He needs his items nice and early. It does feel like Shanks getting some help from Arlo that will pay dividends. Haichao gonna get himself a decent knock up there, but the fact that Haichao gets zoned off of XP and he's, you know, he's half a level down or thereabouts, maybe just a little under, and he's down 15-20 CS already, means that the Lucian does get extra value. You need to be careful of this bot side now, though. Hope has been playing weak side on the bot side of the map. He's been doing well at it. He's not being exposed too hard so far, and I think that he's been justifying the fact that he can pick this misfortune for that lane dominance, but also just be able to safely farm up. He did get pushed around a little bit in the last matchup that they did have. Gosh, Shanks, so much damage on this Lucian very early on. Again, getting that extra XP advantage, a level up on Haichao means he has an extra level in that queue. The extra base stats gets himself just enough mana to ult out as well. So Haichao forced to use that defensively. AL very much topside focused in this series so far. Take a minute to breathe. Birdall did get a brief reprieve as Arla went towards that mid lane. One of the things about top lane roams like that when you go down towards mid lane, though, is that if you get a good enough push in, and Arla went beyond the turret to get a full proxy farm in, it gives you the ability to go somewhere else on the map, come back to your lane, and you've not really lost anything. You know, you don't have minions being pushed into your tower, you don't have anything like that, so Arla, been very impressed with him. Last game, massively outplayed in the 1v2 and just snowballed over the entire game. Very powerful from him, and now he's got himself an empowered W, just break through the passive shield. He'll be looking for a reset now after he's taken that chunk. Birdall might try and stop him from doing that. Goes in with that Q, force out the dominance. Rage has come through. Where are the next cooldowns coming through? Empowered Q gets some healing. Flash out of the second part of that Q from the Poppy. Close run stuff. Birdall on the comfort pick of the Poppy, even from behind the laning state right now. Gets himself a good trade. Flash for flash, ult for ult. Arla's sticking around, but now Croco's here. He has the flash, and it's no longer an honorable gentleman's 1v1 in the top side. Arla, once again, helped out by Croco. First, it was a chunk. Second, it's a kill. No teleport to rescue this lane. For all Birdall was trading well in that lane, it means so little. Arla ahead of the game again. This Renekton's about to become a big old issue. Go back to a replay of exactly what happens here. This is a great 1v1. You can see that the shield break comes in from the empowered W of Renekton, makes the trade a lot better for Arlo than it could be. However, he stands in both parts of the queue, which does mean a lot of the damage comes through. He has to blow that dominus. The wave's crashing in. Arlo needs to keep fighting him. If he doesn't help that wave go in, his wave state is absolutely messed up. Birdall does a really good job here of getting a good trade. Then just overstays. I think this is the problem. He gets a really good trade here. He knows that if Arla is alone here, he can potentially get himself a full solo kill, but Croco, much like we've seen from Tarzan, gets himself the QE flash, or the Q flash E, to get himself the guaranteed stun if you know that Q is on target. That has been the brand mechanic of LPL. Our LPL brands are really good, folks. I think that Croco, the last game was really, really strong from him. Another solid performance from him. And now with that Renekton ahead with an Eclipse built up, I think that Arla could just run over this game yet again. Shoya's going to get chunked out. Bit of a swing and a miss from that Glacial Fissure. But still, the ult's pulled out to just try and stop Shoya getting dominant lane. Shanks, does he have E? Yes, he does. He has Flash, and he might have had needed to use it. Uses that handshake onto the Lucian. Jinzhao locks him down. Shanks doesn't see the Renata skill shot from over the wall. And suddenly, Haichao gets a bit of helping hands himself there in the mid lane. Shanks a little bit too far up. A little bit too in danger at that point. So, LGD get themselves something back. It is already a more competitive early game than it was in the past. I say in the past, just last game. Words, they're hard sometimes. So, LGD, they're going to spot out Kyle and Croco, the jungle support. Jinzhao still has his ult. Needs to be afraid of that Braum shield. Can block out the entirety of that ultimate coming through. Need to be careful with that. Arla just about takes tower aggro. Does he have enough rage? He has himself the slice and dice. And he will get himself a minced Poppy in the top side. 2 jungle ganks, well timed towards top side. put Ala ahead on a matchup he can snowball with. So many players in the LPL have tried to use the Renekton to get early lane advantages, but they peter out. They don't get enough from it. Ala, he is showcasing exactly why AL wanted to pick this guy up to complete the puzzle of their roster. Bring in a top laner, which is strong in the 1v1. Gets himself a full first tower in topside. 3,000 gold ahead of his opposing number. And Bertel, despite the fact that he is on a comfort champion, on a pick which he knows how to play really, really well, really does feel like Bertel is just so far behind a matchup which is so hard to outplay at this point. If you are more even in gold, you might be able to outplay that with the amount of CC. It is so hard beyond this point, and Ala, once again, being gifted a lot of pressure topside, but then returning the favor, you know. It does really feel like Ala has given extra strategic options to this team. While we're looking across the rest of the map, we have 3 for 3 in terms of grubs, 1 for 1 in terms of dragons. It's not a blowout in terms of objectives on any one side. Next big thing I really want to be looking for is, okay, Ala, ahead of the game. Can we get a Xiaoye shutdown, a cash-in on that Draven? If you can get that big kill, maybe that can be exactly what LGD can use to get back into it. Ala back out onto the map. Has Dominus, has teleport. You can go influence somewhere across the map. And you can see that Bloodthirster for Hope and for Xiaoye means that they can trade a lot of these harder kind of auto attack trades. It does make it a lot easier for them to kind of take a hard trade and regen off the next one. So hard for LGD to play around Ala's lane. Ala, however, he is going to recall. Knows he's on the weak side of the map. Doesn't really want to be left under this bot lane turret alone. It does mean that Haichao, despite getting zoned off of that earlier mid lane wave, is up in XP. Now going to get himself to a point where he is competing in gold as well. I mean, Shanks is pushing in that top lane alone, so it's not like it's going to be one side in regards to the gold that one of these mid laners is getting access to. The fact that the Lucian is not ahead of the game is quite worrying for AL. The Renekton very much is. They see that Ala going to get tanked up under the... He's going to just tank up a little bit of damage under this turret. They're teleporting onto this. That is bold. He's taking out a decent amount of HP. Second level Dominus, though. Really, really powerful. Flashes out of the CC. 3 ultimates used on that bot side. Or rather, just the 2. It feels like it's 3 with Poppy flashing in or dashing in to try and secure something. Ala survives on the weak side. He teleports out, away. It's cancelled, though. We can see that on the minimap. Bertel goes in, cancels out the teleport. Ala should die on this bot side, and does. But at what cost? It's at the cost of the mid lane outer turret. LGD, they do get that shutdown. Importantly so. Ala not able to quite survive through there, but it is at the cost of 2 turrets coming through the mid lane and potentially another fight. Jinzhao gets himself out to safety. At least LGD deal with that crocodile problem in that bot side. Shanks has been pushing up alone in this top side, all alone. In the meantime, though, LGD, it's been a bit better of a cross map than it was in game 1. While all this has been happening, you know, you do get that kill onto the Renekton. You do get yourself that bot lane out of turret. It's not like it's a completely barren trade. Go back to this dive again. Ala gets himself the wave clear he needs to. He's still tanking up a lot of damage there. With the Eclipse, you don't have that much HP. You don't necessarily have the defensive stats. He gets himself the empowered W and he gets himself out of that Yone ultimate. Right here, though, he thinks he's safe and he dashes into a bush with a ward in. I think if there was no ward in that brush, I think there was a good chance that Ala can get it out alive. Can't quite end up surviving through to that second part of it, though. And sadly for him, goes down in the side lane. So, LGD, they now have to play a game without that mid lane outer turret. It's always a big objective to go down. 400 stacks on Xiaoye, by the way. Keeping an eye on that one. Dragon, up right now. Because LGD were just playing towards the bot side, they'll have themselves more of this... more of the vision control towards bot side. They can also keep checking out with the plants as well. The engage from AL is not that exceptional. Remember, their big team fights a little harder to play around. LGD, they have themselves that Stranglethorns too. Ala has himself a massive blast gun to go in. He's going to pop the Dominus potentially and look for a flank threat. LGD, though, they get themselves standing line in this rift. The battle lines are drawn and Ala not able to find the intro he wants. AL, the lack of engage really becoming clear here. They can't shut down LGD before they go towards that dragon. And LGD walk away with that objective. AL, this is the big difference between this game and the last time. They don't have the Yone, they don't have the Bard ult. Much harder for them to close down the targets that they would like. LGD, they walk away with the dragon, and I think they're feeling a lot more confident about this now. The first sniff at a 5v5, and they walk away completely fine. Arla back into a side lane. So, Arla, ahead of the game right now. 2 items. Incredibly strong. However, can't really survive in the 1v3 still. Needs to be very careful of that. Croco is helping him push up this lane so far. If you can get an amount of vision for Arla on the side lane, I think he is going to absolutely run roughshod through these turrets. Again, he has so many items, and he's got an XP lead on Birdall. Very, very dangerous for LGD to leave anyone alone versus this Renekton. Now, you can see the members on the minimap moving now to try and help this Poppy. It might be a bit too late. Birdall gets that charge out away from the cube. Won't be able to get stunned up by that brand, and will survive for now. Shanks alone on top side. He can't face check this. It's a Yone. He is very powerful. Gonna flash out of that ultimate. Drags Haichao under turret. He goes forwards with that soul unbound. Shanks giving as good as it takes right now. But he still loses that flash all the same. You can't afford to face check like that. Very dangerous stuff. The problem is when you're warding out for one side of the map, you very rarely have wards on the other side. So Arla, he has all of his teammates coming out to help him. Shanks doesn't have it on the other side, so Haichao very nearly gets himself an important game-breaking moment at that point. Well, all of this is happening as well. Reminder, if that Draven ult flies in and gets a kill, it is going to be 1,000 gold at this point. There's a huge amount of gold waiting with 500 just now stacks coming in for Xiaoye. Kyle caught out, has heal, has the shield. Can he get CC'd up for long enough? No, not quite yet. Hope. He has himself a big ultimate. That comes the CC chain. The shield not going to come up because it's not needed. Hope gets himself that first big combo of the game. Jinjar goes down after just trying to pick onto the other side of the map. Meteor gets himself slowed up. He has himself a flash. Is that going to be enough? I don't know if it is. It's a good Stranglethorns, but is it enough? No, it is not. The Zyra goes down. Haichao goes down. And LGD, just as it felt they'd found themselves a better intro into this game, it just goes from bad to worse. LGD, they don't find themselves a single kill in this passage of play. And AL explode through the top side of the map after LGD overcommit to trying to kill that tanky Braum and leave themselves in no man's land for that retreat. Draven still sat there with 500 stacks as well, which are we getting a replay of? It's going to be this attempted pick onto Kyle. The thing is, he has the Celestial opposition, he has the shield, so much damage resistance, means it's very hard to lock him down, and you've pulled yourself out of position with a flashless Renata. You're not able to get out of this. Fantastic teleport onto the ward there as well to allow Arla to be able to commit to the play too. You have yourselves the ability to keep going beyond this point. Kyle gets a magnificent Q across the wall, and the slow's it. That's it. The slow's all you need. Meteor is on one of these less mobile AP junglers. Can't quite get himself out to safety. Jinzhao already dead, of course, in terms of his peeling efforts, and Shai is not at the play. LGD is caught with their pants down. They overcommit. They can't put up a fight on the retreat, and AL walk away with a good amount of gold, which can potentially blow this game open. They're going to go straight on towards the Baron now, 20 minutes in. LGD just retreated through that top side. What have they got? They don't have themselves the Renata ult just yet, if I'm looking at that correctly. LGD looking just over the wall. It does look like it could be a bit of a flip. Meteor, no flash, can't get into the pit. It will be secured. A quick retreat now necessary from anyone's legend. They don't necessarily want to be caught around here too long. And LGD can't close the jaws shut just in time. AL get themselves out with a 5-man Baron, even though their composition can struggle to engage around objectives. If they are first at the objectives and take it first, it is not an issue. LGD gonna walk up to try and take down this mid lane outer turret. Hope could have ulted to wave clear that, but with Haichao having flash and ult, would have been in very much a dangerous position to do so. So Haichao eating forward secures them that turret. Arla gonna take down top lane and turret on the other side. LGD, get mid lane out of turret. That is always a good objective to get. But is that going to be enough to stop the Baron push coming across the other side from AL? My instincts say no, it will not be. LGD trying to wave clear as best they can, but Dragon coming up. They'll have to be pulled away from those objectives. AL, can they just run with this mid-wave in? They might want to contest this all the same. Stop and LGD getting towards that soul point. I wonder if they should just leave this and go towards some other waves. They're not able to get themselves a great angle right now. Arla around on the flank. Has flash, has ult. Oh, this Renekton might just end the game. Meteor, no flash. Birdall peeling for him. Haichao peeling for him. The dragon goes down, but they save their jungler. Is that enough? Haichao flashing forwards, looking for the fight. Arla's down. The Renekton's not there to be so much of that damage, and LGD, they lose themselves the dragon, but they win themselves just about the fight. AL, they're the ones which overcommit this time, and LGD stay alive. In the midst of that too, in the midst of all of that, we were paying attention. Could Arla get himself that big flank? I didn't even remember. How could I forget? The Draven gets the cash in. Arla goes around on the flank. He's trying to get onto Meteor, but it's Birdall. Birdall saves the day. He can't flash forwards onto Xiaoya, onto Meteor, and while all of this happens, it's Xiaoya that gets the kill. The Stranglethorns knocks up 3. AL, they can't get themselves onto the picks, which they would have wanted. The bailout, it's nice, but it buys enough time to stop anyone else really getting focus fired down. LGD, this could be the play that they needed. Xiaoya suddenly explodes through into that gold. AL, their Baron buff is going to be giving them a negative power play overall as LGD. They find themselves a moment of reprieve. While all of this is happening, Arla died very early in that last fight, has, however, gone back to base, buys himself up again. The Propane Hydra. We're cooking on the hydrocarbons now. 3 items. He will one-shot a flashless carry. I think maybe he can't do it in the duration of the stun. Might not need to. Haichao. He's going to get tagged up by that Q. Needs to be careful. Remember, if you get that empowered W, it's 3 auto attacks back-to-back. And if you get a Braum Q, it will be an instant stun afterwards from that Braum Q as well. Walking in, the Baron buff is down. LGD have enough wave clear for now. Croco trying to get that E spread. He does get it onto Birdall, but it's not going to be as much damage among that point. So, AL felt like that Baron buff should have led to an end-of-game scenario for them. Couldn't quite clutch out that team fight just before this, and now LGD, they find themselves in a decent fighting scenario. I think that Meteor on this Zyra can be very, very powerful now. It's not easy to get on top of these carries without a godlike Renekton flank. And Arla almost had that the last time, just still a little bit too close to the wall. And the Monster Energy Blast Cone on the other side from Birdall helped him get in range to get that huge peel into the back end of that team fight. If you don't get a great angle for that Renekton, I think Meteor can lock off one angle of a fight incredibly well. Birdall can do the similar kind of thing with the Keeper's Verdict as well. That's how team fights should look. Every time that AL look towards a big play now, look to see Arla teleporting, getting on a flank, it's whether LGD can shut one of these avenues shut before AL can get themselves onto those big carries. All the same. AL pushing up across the river. Huge vision control everywhere, pretty much. They are pushing in every single lane. Shanks is behind gold. He's not really been the main character this series. I still think he's been solid. He had that one phase check into the brush in that last in that side lane. But it's not really been about him. It's been about Arla on the strong side of the map. Shanks has just been sat there saying, okay, I am wave clearing. I'm going to be safe. Does mean that Arla needs to, again, pay off on the amount of resources put into him. Couldn't quite do it around that last fight, although I'd pretty much say that was on Birdall instead of him. All the same, LGD. No wards across a very slim line across their map. You can draw a line, diagonal line across the map and see where their vision extends to. It won't help them get Haichao into a flanking position. It won't help Birdall get into a decent position too if you would like to do that. I'd imagine he's going to be stood in front of the team. LGD, they do largely want to be playing front to back, and they can use Haichao in the 5-man unit to try and dash forwards and get himself a big engaged play. AL, with that in mind, with knowledge that LGD have no vision across the map, what is their next play? It's hard for them to find advantages. They're going to be trying to slowly bleeding out the map. They might just go towards another big Baron play again. It's a shame they couldn't end things out of the last time. They ended up committing towards the dragon. They meant that they couldn't use that Baron buff. I think in hindsight, they'll be calling that a mistake at this point. What's the killer blow? What can they do beyond this point? And so, LGD grouping up yet again. 3 items for Xiaoya ahead in that role. Haichao ahead in his role as well. So, LGD down in overall team goal, but ahead elsewhere. Bertel, no flash, and he might just get caught out here. The Bromstone is soon to come through. Hope might not even need to pull his ult. Bertel keeping up that ultimate, but then Kael face tanks it. Doesn't lead to his death, though, and now suddenly LGD go on to the Baron. Bertel needs to recall, then he'll teleport back in. Will he be here in time, though? Ala coming through. Croco over the wall. He can get himself a huge play. This is a problem. LGD, they want to take things from a single direction. They spot out Ala. They get out the teleports, and now they are teleporting into the play. Bertel, remember, didn't have that flash before, has it just now. Baron spawned. LGD not quite able to get themselves the big objective which they would have wanted to, but they do at least bring out the double teleports from AL. That's a big victory in itself. That's how AL would have likely looked to get that big team fight victory themselves. Ala going towards that mid lane, trying to put that through, but he has no teleport. He has that dominance, and he will be back in time to fight, but LGD just trying to make sure that Renekton is not in another lane. What can Croco do? He has that flash. He might look for a big old combo, and he's going in right now. Pyroclasm, Bordeaux trying to peel out. The Zhonya's comes through, keeping him safe, and now Ala is on the flank. Ala, the fed Renekton, and the steal coming through, technically from Meteor. It's an absolute mess, and LGD just keep hitting the floor. They cannot find themselves the fight which they want. They cannot keep that door shut. And anyone's legend with a rocky road get themselves towards what looks to be the end of this second game. It was a bit of a mess of a team fight, not as clean as game one, but they will take the Nexus all the same. Hope walking up, 3 members alive. No, they don't have the Baron, but I don't think they'll need it. AL walking towards a 2-0 towards the Nexus. Nexus turrets being focused down, Misfortune alternating between the two of them, and anyone's legend, one of the most dominant games we have seen in game one. Not quite matched out with in game two. LGD fought their way back, but not far enough. 0-2. Anyone's legend take things down, and that will be the end of our games for today. Anyone's legend 2-0 in the Rumble stage so far. And folks, thank you so much for sticking by me as I solo cast my way through that. Sadly, Mazelle's internet died towards the start of that second game, and I had to learn very quickly how to solo cast on the fly and how to play by play some of those bigger fights. Hope you enjoyed it all the same, as I very much enjoyed watching Anyone's Legend walking through another massive top lane advantage. Yeah, I have to say, it was a bit of a strain on my voice trying to do the solo cast. I need to learn how to not talk as much, because sometimes when you get these big, explosive games with a lot of stuff happening in terms of macro and the big fights, you need to remember to put in a point to breathe. It gives me a lot of respect for someone like Hysterics, who does genuinely solo cast a lot of games. Guy's got a real talent for it, all the same. Right, Anyone's Legend. 2-0. Not the cleanest game too, but still, I really like how Ala has been playing through this Renekton. Not many teams have the Renekton pass from me. I think a lot of teams fall off. They take that one lost fight on Renekton, and the Renekton is useless for the rest of the game. Couldn't be any further from the truth for Anyone's Legend in this case. So folks, hi, I'm Nightmare. I'm Alex. I was joined by Mazelle earlier, but sadly his internet died. And if you've enjoyed what you've been seeing here today, we're here doing it every single day on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday every week, because there is no official LPL English broadcast, and we hope that you're really enjoying what we're bringing to the table here, because these games, if we didn't cast them the way that they were, they would be lost to time. Nowhere else are you going to find every single LPL game consistently. I have now cast every single summer game which has not been broadcast from LPL in summer. And in spring, we almost managed to do that. I think we missed out on week 1 or week 2 or something like that as well. If you're enjoying what we're doing, drop a follow, drop a prime if you've got it as well. He keeps supporting us in what we're doing. And if you don't end up doing either of the things, that's completely fine. Just being here and enjoying yourselves is exactly what I want from it anyway. If you missed any of these games, they are on the past broadcast below. I will be putting these up into the individual games and uploading them onto YouTube as well. And thank you so much for the sub there, Crow. I really appreciate it as well. God, I'm gonna need to get myself a real breather after this point. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And, I'll be back this time tomorrow. I believe Sam will be back tomorrow as well, so he'll be casting with me. And we'll have the brothers cast back. It'll be both of us on the same mics. And, yeah, what games have we even got tomorrow? We'll wait around for the MVP, and then I'll go raid over to someone else. Hopefully someone will appreciate that. And, yeah. Yeah, we will get ourselves into this game. Let's go through the post-game stats. Is it LNG on Wednesday? Isn't it LNG Weibo on Wednesday? So OMG RNG, then JDG FPX. JDG FPX is a hell of a game, folks. I'm very much looking forward to that one. Okay. AL. I think we've seen a couple of games today with AP junglers being really, really strong, really Zyra being really, really strong if you have teams with very little engage. If you don't have engage to close down the Zyra takes over the game. I am a little sad that Meteor and Haichai couldn't clutch out a couple of these late game scenarios, but yeah, I think that AL showing that they can play through winning top lane is huge, even with stuff like the Renekton. It's not the Camille, it's not the Jax, it's not the Cannon. The Renekton is much more about early lane dominance and then using that to kind of build an advantage to roll through the rest of the game. Really excited to see how much more they can show of this, because not many teams are doing this. Trying to think if anyone else does. Weibo can with Breathe. They can do with that with this. I think Ola has to be MVP. Although I think there's also a shout out for Croco too. I think Croco had a pretty great series in general. Both brand games were good. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see exactly again how much this AL team can end up bringing to the table against other top tier teams. Their next game is on Thursday. Their versus AL. I will be casting that on the official LPL broadcast. So you can go watch me on the main broadcast in that one. I think I'm on Thursday and I'm on Saturday. I'm on both those days. So, yep, I get myself both then. What else have we got? It's Weibo NIP, the Group D matchup on Saturday. That'll be fun for that one. Some really good games this week. LGD's next game against JDG, and that'll be a hard one. Then again, JDG, they do have some early game flaws at points. I wonder if LGD can get themselves an easier series against them than AL. That's something to say. I think AL looked really good today, you know. To the point where, yeah, you can kind of shadow box them against teams like JDG and say, well, maybe AL with their strong early games can get ahead of a team like that. We'll have to see, because of course it means you are against players like Sheer and Flandre, which are very good in the individual 1v1, which maybe Ali couldn't get ahead as easy. Bertle, I feel bad for Bertle, because honestly, Bertle, he was just dunked on so many times today. Crane, thank you so much for the Prime, folks. Thank you so much for the support today, folks. It means an awful lot. It helps me keep doing what I'm doing. And yeah, I've cast, I don't know, 320, 330 games this year already. Like, I'm casting well over a game a day. Like, one and a half games on average a day. Every single day. Most casters will do about 150 games in their entire year. Or so. So I've already doubled that and more, which is quite something, folks. Right. Wait until the MVP comes through and get to see who's around for that one. Jeez, this is a bit of a messy game. I mean, you could see that Olive very nearly ended that game around the last dragon fight. Bertle had a fantastic peeling team fight there, though. It was honestly incredible. What's Chronicler doing on stream? What's Chronicler doing? Is he doing LCK's challenges today? Is that on today? So I might go raid him after this, because if he's doing that, because it's nice to go give some... Okay, yeah, he's doing that. Does anyone know whether there's another series after this point? Does anyone know if challenges on... Because, like, I don't know whether... if there's another series, then we'll send you over to him. Oh, no, it's just ended there too. Damn it, I was just about to raid you over. Okay, well, whatever. Croco's MVP. Croco was great. Croco was great. His early game ganks were fantastic. I think that Croco was fantastic, so that's completely fine to me. Okay, folks, I'm gonna go raid you over to someone. Let's go find someone to raid. Heck, who do we raid you over to? I don't know. Let's have a think. Let's have a think. But thank you so much for joining me today, folks. And yeah, apologies for the solo cast at the end. It happens. I hope it didn't break your immersion too much. Right. Let's go. You know what? Screw it. Let's send you over to Marcoon. Let's send you over to Marcoon. Yeah. Okay, folks. I'm gonna send you over to Marcoon. Enjoy his high-level jungle gameplay. And I'll see you this time tomorrow with Initialize. He'll be here back again tomorrow. Be the Brothers Cast. And folks, thank you so much again. And I'll see you for more LPL action tomorrow. Oh, oh, did I send over the wrong at?